Welcome to the verse, oh, the Dabbleverse, where content has no shape, and Lucy's tight box comes in first. Lucy does dabble, Lucy does Dabbleverse, she does dabble, Lucy does Dabbleverse, Lucy does Dabbleverse. Lucy tight box brings the facts, and she breaks them down for us. Lucy does Dabbleverse. La la la, Lucy has a tight box and she shares it with dabblers. No, not like that, but she does this show for us. Lucy does dabble, Lucy does Dabbleverse, 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 yes she does, yes she do it, yeah, Lucy does Dabbleverse, yes she does, Lucy does Dabbleverse. Lucy does Dabbleverse, she does. Lucy does Dabbleverse, she does. Lucy does Dabbleverse.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lucy Does Dabbleverse. I am here with the absolutely incredible Luigi Greenberg from Skeptical Robot and Trucker Andy from All Apologies Podcast. And we are talking LOLsuit again because we can't stop because there have been 75 filings since the last time that we talked about it.
Oh my God. Kaylee, is it safe to say that this is a clusterfuck?
Yes, that is the only way that we could possibly describe this at this point. I
Possibly
feel like
a cluster of clusterfucks.
It legitimately might be.
Yes.
I think that so far in our coverage, we have been pretty cohesive in explaining what is going on. And I think that we are going to miss the mark on that today because at this point, it is so incomprehensible, all of the things that have happened, that there's almost no way to break it down in a way where it actually makes sense. We are going to try to do that. We have graphics, we have clips, we have fun things. It's going to be awesome. We are going to try our darndest to be able to make sense of anything that is happening. But before we get into what is happening now, I just want to catch everybody up very, very quickly about what has already happened and what we've already covered.
Stupidity.
Yeah, it's true. Stupidity has happened, and we have covered that. And it's been great. It's been super, super fun to cover all of that, which is why we're so excited today, right? So
yes,
we know that Stuttering John, the absolutely wonderful Stuttering John, filed a lawsuit against Karl and Shuli, where he claimed that they were in violation of the right of publicity privacy laws, sections 50 and 51 of New York State statutes. Now, the lawsuit has diverted from that substantially. So you will notice that today we are hardly going to be talking about that. I suspect that we will hardly mention those terms at all. But after that complaint was initially filed, Tabber, John's attorney, had to immediately amend it. And that amendment was needed partially because he wanted to add in an AKA Shuli to the caption, and also because he wanted to correct the misspelling of his own name because he is a wonderful, wonderful attorney.
Pay attention, folks. This is important. It really is.
Now,
yeah.
I have decided, because we have now at this point seen Tabber do so many crazy things, that tonight we are playing Count the Whoopsies. So there are so many mistakes, and we are going to actually count every single mistake that he has made big or small. We're going to try to get them all. It's probably impossible to catch them all, but
we don't have time. We don't have time.
Procedurally, we will get to quite a few of them, and I would love it if everybody in the chat will help us keep track. We need help. It's gonna be a lot. So
they should turn it into.
Very excited to get into that. So.
I was gonna say they should turn it into a game, like an app game, like Pokemon Go, where you have to figure out all of the mistakes that Tabitha Benedict made in his lawsuit.
I don't think that any one person could count them. I will tell you this: I have spent the last 4 days doing nothing but reading this lawsuit. I have spent probably over 4 hours per day trying to make sense of it. And I work in the legal profession. I work as a legal assistant at a law firm. I can hardly understand anything that's going on. Now, Luigi is an attorney, and I think that you also can hardly understand what's going on.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense. Folks, I have really been building this up with people to tell them that this is pure comedy. And I'm standing by it, because when we explain this to you, and unfortunately it is going to take a lot of words and a lot of description and a lot of analysis, but you're going to see that this is essentially, I described it earlier as a kindergartner trying to take a college physics exam.
Yeah.
This is bad.
But
it is hilarious.
And I saw some people on Twitter asking why I'm even here. And I am here under the context of the layperson. Like when these two start talking shop, I think maybe it gets away from people. But I was also subjected to watching Kaylee travel, and while all this stuff it was all happening while we were in airports, and she was losing her mind. So this is really, I'm just kind of her emotional support animal, and
my emotional support, Andy. I need you very much right now. It's true. I was reading all of these documents while Andy and I were traveling to and from Detroit, and in Detroit, I didn't stop reading documents. It's been interesting, I want to say is the word. I'm learning a lot about Tabber and how dumb he is. That's my number one thing at this point. But all right, so let's talk a little bit more. Let me get us set up as I mess up my camera horribly. Let me get us set up on where we are right now so that we can get into what's new. So we had the complaint filed. We had that amended complaint filed. People are allowed to do that, especially when they're small amendments and when they happen immediately after the complaint is filed. After that, both Carly, oh God, they're going to kill me. Both Karl and Shuli got served.
Oh, they're being shipped like J-Lo now. It's Carly like J-Lo and Bennifer.
I did the same thing the other day, actually. I said Carly.
Oh no.
Let's get some
I don't like where
shorthand
this is going. So we had them. The two of them got served, and then shortly after that, Karl and Shuli responded to the lawsuit. Now their attorney Danny has filed 2 separate motions. He filed a motion to dismiss, which includes information about anti-SLAPP, and then he also filed a motion to change venues. Now, these 2 motion sequences are very important, and this is going to be where we're going to start seeing some whoopsies. The reason that we're going to start seeing some whoopsies here is because in response to filing those motions, Tabber and John filed motions opposing them. So, Luigi, will you take a moment and explain to everybody kind of what the legal proceedings are when it comes to, if I submit a motion, I'm requesting a certain type of relief from the court, and how we respond to that legally?
Yes. Hold on. Let me look for my copy, though, of Yakety Sax to play it while we describe what actually happened. This is crazy, folks. So here we go. This is where the comedy starts. Typically, what should happen is that there should be a response filed against the motion to dismiss that basically just says, no, everything you're saying is bullshit, and we still think we have a case. That is the plaintiff's right to do. And that, of course, is the same thing with the motion for the transfer of venue. It just basically says, no, they're wrong. We're right. Here's why. Okay? That's as simple as I can make it.
Yes.
I think it's pretty simple. They fucked it up.
It's quite simple. Like, unrepairably, it is fucked up. So we are actually, I do have some graphics to make that make a little bit more sense. But before we do that, I just want to show you guys a little bit about what is happening within the actual court filing system. So we're going to take a quick peek at what's going on in the court filing system, because I think this will help everybody understand a little bit better where we kind of stand. So the document I'm going to be sharing in a moment, once it's done processing here, is a document from what is called NYSEF. NYSEF is the New York State filing system. And this is going to tell us all of the documents that have been filed within this court case. So like I mentioned, we have the summons and complaint that was filed. In addition to that, we have the service affidavits that were filed. Following that were those motions from Danny, including the motion to transfer the venue, including the motion to dismiss. And then after that, we have about 10 pages of motions from Tabber. It's not really 10 pages, it's 2 pages. But that is what we are going to be getting into today.
Over 10 entries, though.
Yes, quite a few entries. So you can see here all of these documents, absolutely crazy. And I want to talk a little bit about what we are looking at when we're trying to do this, or what, it's so hard to talk about this because it's just complete nonsense. Let's talk about what would have been kind of correct procedurally, just procedurally. We're not even talking about the documents yet. We're just talking about what the procedure should have been in New York State. So we're going to pull this up. We have here a graphic about procedurally what we would expect to happen in a court case like this. You can see here, also Trucker Andy, thank you so much for making these graphics. They are beautiful. I love them. So what we have here is the complaint got filed, then the amended complaint got filed, and then the service affidavits got filed. And then you can see there those 2 green boxes. Those are going to be the motions that Karl and Shuli have filed. So we have the motion to dismiss and also the motion to transfer the venue. The reason that these 2 motions are done separately is because we want to make sure... Actually, you know what, Luigi? I don't have a good answer for that. Why are these 2 motions done separately?
Well, the motion... Okay, wait, I'm sorry. Why is the motion to dismiss and the motion to transfer done separately? Because they're accomplishing 2 different things. And to lump them in would be procedurally wrong. But the motion to dismiss is really standard. That is really an expected thing as part of any litigation process, just simply because it is the right of the defendant to ask. It's a procedural it's a procedural motion that every defendant is entitled to ask, so they use it. We say, hey, basically the plaintiff, we don't think that the plaintiff has a good enough lawsuit. Why don't you just go ahead and throw it out now? Now, but the transfer venue is a separate issue that is not always part of the procedure, which says this is not the right place to have this because of the jurisdictional issue that we have raised before. I don't want to go too deep into that. We're going to find it to be kind of a total rabbit trail from everything else we want to talk about. So I'll leave it at that.
Well, let me explain just a little bit more about that motion to transfer venue. The reason that we have this motion to transfer venue is because Stuttering John is suing Karl and Shuli within New York County. New York County is Manhattan. That is a 6-hour-ish, 5.5-hour-ish drive away from Rochester, New York, where some of the events transpired and where at least one of the podcasts is based. So
you're right.
It doesn't
I'm sorry.
Make sense.
Yeah, I guess I'm assuming that everybody's been keeping track of this. You're right. I should have said all that. Yeah.
Well, that is what the goal is there. So when this motion to transfer venue was filed, what happened was that myself and Trucker Andy and several other people who were at these events all filed affidavits explaining why it would be inconvenient for us to travel to New York County and why it makes sense for this to be venued in Monroe County, where Rochester, New York is. So
can I ask a dumb question at this point?
Of course.
Because it happened here, it makes sense it would be here. And why would you even bother filing it in New York if it was, is it only for the convenience of one of the lawyers, certain person living in New York, or can you just file anywhere and make it inconvenient for people? Like, how specific or arbitrary is it?
That's
Andy,
a great question.
That's a fantastic question that we have not found the answer to. We do not know why they filed it in New York County, because there are specific laws about jurisdiction and venue that say where you are supposed to file it. And those are that typically there's three different ones, but the one that is most used is where the majority of the event took place that led up to the lawsuit, and where that county is. And that county is, I'm sorry, what is it? Monroe County?
Monroe County.
Monroe County. Why they filed it in New York County, we don't know. However, I'm going to put a pin in your question because there is a very important element that's going to actually pop up a little bit later that, although it doesn't answer your question, it might give a couple of clues as to what they might have tried to be doing.
Yeah. But
okay.
I guess just while you're answering this, let's say how, again, back to how arbitrary it is to just say I want it in Manhattan because one of the lawyers lives there. Could you just say I want to do it in Philly because I'd like to visit Philly, or it has to be specific to something?
Basically, here's the issue: is that anyone can try, and it is the right of the other party to challenge it.
Yeah. So a lot of things come down to a lack of wherewithal when it comes to being inconvenienced.
So they have every right to file it there, whether or not the court will agree to give it, substance and credit or credibility and review it there is a totally different issue. And we haven't even gotten that far for the judge to determine whether they're going to yet. So it looks like they were trying to do something there. I don't want to say trickery, but just maybe convenience for them to do it there. But
I'm going to go ahead and just jump in and speculate on this. I think that it's because somebody else who is likely involved in this files an awful lot of things in New York County.
Yes.
And I'm going to leave that right there. And
but again, let's put a pin in
speculation.
This. I do agree with you. Let's put a pin in this because I think there's more to it that we're going to get to a little bit later, but we have to give a little bit of foundation for it first. But to answer your question, Andy, yes, I could sue you in Tennessee if I wanted to. Whether or not the court's going to actually hear the case is a different issue. So,
I'm not legally allowed to go to Tennessee.
I know. I'm not allowed near any schools in Tennessee.
All right. Well, let's actually take a peek at Danny, which is Karl and Shuli's attorney. Let's look at his response to why the venue should actually be transferred. So this is his affirmation in support of transferring the venue. And you can see here, I've highlighted a couple of things. The entire point that we are talking about when we're saying why the venue should be Monroe County as opposed to New York County is first based on some boring laws that requires a venue transfer to Monroe County because that is the county because that county is not proper. And it requests that the court transfer to Monroe County because the convenience of material witnesses and the ends of justice will be prompted by the change. So this is exactly what Danny and Karl and Shuli are requesting here. Now we can see, if we continue along in this document a little bit, maybe there's a lot of pages, so very many pages. We can see some other really fun stuff in here that Danny did. So basically, John's argument as to why it should be in New York County is because people in New York County might have listened to these podcasts. Well, unsurprisingly, anybody anywhere could have listened to these podcasts. So Danny says here in this affidavit in support of the motion to transfer venue that it was viewable in New York to anyone with an internet connection does not mean that a substantial part of the events giving rise to the claim occurred in New York County. It was viewable everywhere, making New York County a place where no particularly substantial events occurred. Very, very important. In addition to that, Danny does some great things in this affirmation. Now, Luigi, have you read through this?
I have. It's great.
Oh.
It's fantastic.
Oh my God. It's fantastic. I got to say, Karl and Shuli, they have hired an attorney who clearly is this is a passion project for him at this point. I think we can go ahead and say he's enjoying what he's writing. So I'm going to read through a couple more sections of this and then we'll move on to some additional documents. But I love here, you can see down at the bottom there, it says the first amended complaint's vague and conclusory allegation as to where the entertainment industry is centered are not entitled to any weight in this court. So one of John's arguments about it being venued in New York County is that is the epicenter of Hollywood. Now, Danny goes in through the next couple of pages and describes why it is exactly not the epicenter of Hollywood, describes that it's L.A.
But being the epicenter of Hollywood is not a legally procedurally correct venue for a case. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand what in the world their reasoning would be for thinking this would be okay.
One of the events was held in Monroe County. Done. Period. End of sentence. That's it. That's it.
And a podcast isn't a movie, and
it's not.
It has nothing to do with Hollywood. What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
I
gotta read this section. This is the funniest thing. This is my favorite part of all of the documents so far. There's a lot of really great parts, but this is my absolute favorite. So here again in Danny's affirmation in support of the motion to transfer venues, he says, in the first amended complaint, it just generally alleges that plaintiff's reputation and opportunities in the entertainment industry. Which entertainment industry? Film? Television? The first amended complaint does not articulate any of Melendez's recent or future opportunities in the entertainment industry. Now, there's a couple of footnotes here on the bottom. So Danny asks, which entertainment industry? Film? And then there's a footnote which reads, the first amended complaint alleges no specific film opportunities. It appears plaintiff's last film credit was 17 years ago in One Too Many, a 2008 film about a, quote, Randy bachelor who searches for a woman who shares his interest in group sex. And then the second footnote here relates to which entertainment industry? Television? The first amended complaint alleges no specific television opportunities. It appears that the last network television show that plaintiff worked for was The Tonight Show in 2014. And good God, do I just love that so much.
Yeah.
It's just facts, you know?
It's the perfect wink and a nod. This is Danny. Again, Karl and Shuli did a great job with their attorney. And what I will say is that this attorney, again, I think it's a passion project. He is doing the perfect wink and a nod here of making legal arguments, but also being a little bit of a dick. And I love it so much. This is like you think you're so good? Like, I cannot get over how beautiful that is. Beautiful.
Yeah, we were
it's stunning.
Speculating. Yeah, Danny. It's Danny Dabbler, Esquire, attorney at law. They needed to find some. Can you imagine trying to explain this to an attorney that doesn't know anything about the Dabbleverse, and you show up with your iPad and say, "Now, first thing you got to do is watch this YouTube video by Sheet Shitterson about who Stuttering John is, so that you could defend me in court against this monster goblin that is." Wasting everyone's time, but Danny obviously is a listener.
He is an incredible attorney as far as I can tell. I'll just tell you a couple more pieces of information that came out of this affidavit or this affidavit in support of that motion to transfer venues. So some of the other arguments that Danny is making here, he's saying things like, well, all of the witnesses are located in Monroe County, so that was another reason that it makes sense that it would be in Monroe County. In addition to that, he makes the argument that Monroe County courts are less congested than the New York County courts. This is very important because the judges don't want to read cases like this. If this case came across me and I was a 75-year-old judge sitting on a bench, I would be like, I don't care about reading any of these words, especially when we get into the real craziness here.
I was going to say, especially when we start piling on all of the shit that's happened over the past couple of days. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And in addition to that, Danny questions in this affidavit in support John's claims that it would be convenient for his witnesses to be in New York County. So he says here, it's all the way back in this document, so I'm not even going to bother pulling it up, but it says here on page 21, I believe, the First Amended complaint simply states in conclusory fashion that, quote, the venue in New York County will also serve the convenience of witnesses at the ends of justice. But the First Amended complaint does not identify a single witness or party who appears to reside, work, or have any connection in New York County. So what this is saying is John is claiming that all of his witnesses are in New York County, but he hasn't provided any evidence for that.
And even if they were, again, he's making laws up. That is not a procedurally granted reason to have the venue there. Again, it has to happen where the majority of the events took place. It's baffling. It's just baffling. I don't know what they're doing or why they're doing it.
Absolutely. No, it makes zero sense whatsoever. So I want to go back to my graphics here because, again, now we are kind of caught up on the motion to transfer venue. We're caught up on the motion to dismiss. We all kind of understand what's going on a little bit there, at least, kind of, sort of. And so we're going to look at what we would have expected to happen in this case. So again, I'll pull this little graphic up. We expected that after Danny for Karl and Shuli filed the motion to dismiss and the motion to transfer venue, that there would be responses to those from the plaintiff, aka John. So you can see here, again, our defendant's motions are going to be in green. All of the documents filed by plaintiff, by John, are going to be in red. And what we would expect is that there would be responses from John's attorney, Tabber, and now an additional attorney, to all of these motions. And you can see they kind of follow nicely. You can see here we have the motion to transfer venue, and then we have opposition to the motion to transfer venue. Mm-hmm. And then over here we have the motion to dismiss, and we have opposition to the motion to dismiss. Now, Tabber, on behalf of John, also filed an additional motion, which was a request for leave to file a second amended complaint.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
So we do have this third motion here. So what the graphic that we have up right now is what we would kind of expect everything to look like. It's nice, it's concise, it follows a nice, healthy, wonderful situation where we can kind of understand what's happening. Let's talk about now what Tabber on behalf of John tried to do. So I'm going to just pull up this other graphic here. And we're going to take a peek at that. Oh, did I... Let's go ahead and get this one.
While you're... Oh, okay.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, another question of mine being, how relevant to filing paperwork is spelling and errors? Do people grade these? Is it possible to make so many mistakes that it becomes apparent that you're incompetent? Or is it just a shame game where people that go and look these up read through it and realize that the person that created the case is an imbecile and they're just like shamed professionally? Or is there any relevance to a judge to read it and become so annoyed with how many spelling errors and mistakes are and throw it out based on that? Is that a thing?
The mistakes in this case are so far beyond spelling errors that it's absolutely absurd. And I'm going to shoot my load and tell you guys what I think is going to happen right now, because I think that this is what's going to happen. I'm going to give you all supporting evidence about why I think that this is going to happen. At this point, the court case is so muddled up. It is so incomprehensible, and we're going to see why in the slides that I'm about to show you. It is so incomprehensible. Everything has been done so procedurally incorrectly that I believe that the court is going to look at this on Friday, which is when we have our first motion dates. Friday, y'all, just a couple of days away. On Friday, the judge is going to sit down with these documents in his chambers, and he is going to say, this makes zero sense. I don't even understand what's happening.
Yep.
I give it an F minus.
I think I think there are judges, and whether or not this judge is that, I don't know, but there are judges who will literally call the lawyer and say, "What are you doing? Don't ever bring this into my courtroom." Now, I'm not going to say with any certainty that that's going to happen, but I'm going to say that if this judge does have a chip on his shoulder, this whole thing could be over by Friday, because of how bad these filings have gotten.
It's like your filing process is so bad that I consider this contempt of court.
There are some. I one time got a call from a judge who specifically said you misspelled a word, and when we get through all of the mistakes that have been made so far, if this judge is anything like that, he's going to say, "No, we're not doing this. We're done." And it's possible. I'm, again, not going to say with any certainty, but it is definitely possible.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more about what John and his attorney Tabber tried to do here. And again, I have another graphic for this because it does get a little bit confusing. And let me tell you, the amount of time that I spent looking through these motions trying to make any sense of them, probably over 7 hours just on that alone. It is, again, incomprehensible. So this is what they were trying to do. They were trying to file an amended complaint after filing the initial complaint, file the service affidavits. Danny and Karl and Shuli filed the motion to dismiss and the motion to transfer venue. John and Tabber tried to respond to both of those things off of those motion sequences. And then they additionally tried to file what is called a cross motion. Now, this cross motion that they filed was for leave to file a second amended complaint. And Luigi, I would love it if you would explain to everybody why this is such a big whoopsie, because a cross motion needs to be across from something is the most simple way that I want to put that. But you can see that it's just hanging out all the way over there by itself.
Yeah. All right. So here we go, folks. Here's the first big whoopsie, and this happened on Thursday.
Whoopsie. Yes.
Yes. First, because we're about to give you 4 straight days of giant whoopsies, and here's what happened on Thursday. They filed this, let's just call it leave for second, just for the sake of clarity, call it a motion for leave for to file a second amended complaint. Now, this is a big deal because, according to New York law, you are allowed one, for the sake of clarity, let's call it a redo of your initial complaint. And the complaint, again, is what gets the ball rolling for the lawsuit. You are allowed one.
And that's that second bar on this graphic, right? If everybody's
correct. Yes.
Following
Yes.
along, they've already used up their mulligan.
They used up their mulligan to correct the name of the lawyer
Of
because it
Mr.
was
Benedict.
misspelled. And now they are filing a motion asking the judge to divert from legal procedure in order to bring on Kate Meany as a defendant, which means Kate Meany is not a defendant yet because it needs court approval because they used up their mulligan. Their reasoning behind doing that is what I think is the reason why they're trying to also latch it onto New York County, because she is a resident, which is the only argument they've made that is procedurally accurate when it comes to jurisdiction and venue, because it can be based on a defendant's residence. I still don't think it's right because there's just an overwhelming argument for something else, but there's every chance that the judge is simply going to say no because you used up your one redo. Okay. Now, This continues to build, but I'm going to stop there in case you want to start addressing other stuff.
Well, what I would like to talk about just for a quick moment, and then I want to show everybody a couple of documents because we are about to hit whoopsie after whoopsie after whoopsie. So again, everybody get counting. We got to count the whoopsies that we're going to spot just tonight, which I feel like we're already at 2. I want to point out that this is what they tried to do. And you can see here that there are 3 separate lines of what is going on off of those service affidavits. These are what I'm going to define as motion sequences. That is the terminology that we use within legal mumbo jumbo. So these motion sequences are going to be following each other. The first motion sequence is the motion to dismiss. The second motion sequence is the motion to transfer venue. And for some reason, John and Tabber have filed a third motion sequence, which is the cross motion that Luigi just did a great job of explaining. Now, again, it doesn't make any sense for that to be a separate motion sequence because they filed it as a cross motion. A cross motion needs to be from off of another motion. So there should only be 2 little things going on here. In fact, I actually have a graphic that will show you what they should have done. This is what would have been one of the correct variations of them filing these motions. You can see here there's only 2 motion sequences here. So I want to show you just a couple of little things that are big old whoopsies within all of these documents and these amendeds and these different things. And one of them in particular relates to what Luigi was just saying, which is that Kate Meany has been, or rather, let me say it this way. John and Tabber are requesting the court's permission to add Kate Meany to the complaint. They don't currently have that permission, which means that she is not currently joined in the action. However, Tabber is so stupid that in many cases, they are actually including her in the caption, which is a big, big no-no. We should not be doing that because she is not technically a part of the action yet. So I just want to pull up. Yes. This is Tabber's. This is going to be Tabber's.
He is addressing it as if the court has already approved his request.
Correct. And the thing I want you to draw your attention to here is that Kate Meany's name is up in the top left there in the defendant's caption. Now, Kate Meany is not currently a defendant because the court has not permitted that yet. So, therefore, this is inherently wrong. In addition to that, just across from Kate Meany's name in the top right there, you can see it says motion sequence number 3. I was so baffled by all of this because the motion sequences that they're requesting just make absolutely no sense whatsoever. This is so wrong on so many levels. Now, they did try to correct this because that was another whoopsie, but
You were literally trying to pull the emergency exit on the airplane because you were so frustrated with trying to understand. They keep trying to address emotion in the first one that should be applied to the second one, and it's just so convoluted. My other question becomes how much time is being wasted? How long does it take to file this paperwork? Who is drafting it? Who has to go and submit it? How long does it take to do just one? And then how many are there? And then whose time is being wasted? Who's doing it?
I don't even know how to answer that.
That's too much minutia. But
yeah.
Well, I don't know that it's too much minutia.
I'm sorry, but I'm just saying, you're saying between Thursday and today, so much has happened. How fast is it able to happen? Because it seems like it gets to a point where, all right, now we're stuck waiting weeks to months for this to show up in court. But all these filings could take a matter of minutes.
Well, the filings are just basically submitted through an electronic system, not necessarily being reviewed by the court until the time that is determined to have a hearing or some sort of, there could be conferences to discuss them or something like that.
But in the meantime, they're charging you by the hour to file this shit too, right?
The lawyers, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So John or somebody is paying for this.
Okay.
And Karl and Shuli are also paying for this. I want to just remind everybody, please go support Karl and Shuli right now. This is not inexpensive. And I think Luigi and I might differ on our opinions about this a little bit. I'm not convinced that they will win their anti-SLAPP part of the case. I think it is going to be challenging for them to collect fees and costs for their attorney on this. So I
agree. I agree that it's going to be challenging.
Agree? Okay.
Yeah.
I will highly recommend that everybody go and support them right now. I do want to address, I see a question here that is a good question in the chat that I want us to clarify, and then we're going to read a couple of super chats. So I see this here from Thirsty, and the question is, was Kate served? Now, this is something that I definitely want to address. We kind of skipped over this because there's just so much to talk about today. Kate has not been served because she is not currently a party to the action. They are requesting for her to be added. Until she gets added, there will not be any service on her. If the court permits her to be added, then service will be completed again. Karl and Shuli will get served again, and Kate will get served.
Yeah, Karl's buddy, the service processor, gets to come visit
again.
again.
Yeah, Karl's going to get to see his friend again.
Is there a version where Kate just gets wind of this and fucks off to France and it's just kind of sidesteps the whole proceedings?
Service is one of my favorite parts of lawsuits. Service is really interesting because if you ever talk to a process server, the guy who actually does the service, they have great stories about getting attacked by crowbars and stuff like that. But in addition to that, they do have to deal with things like, how do you serve somebody who is on the run from the law?
How do you
serve that person?
It happens, yeah.
What if she's just hiding in a cabin in the woods and they can't complete it? What happens then?
You are completely right.
They
would have to do a motion.
Sometimes you have to wait it out. Yeah.
Or they move forward without her, or they.
Nope. So,
or they
what
have to
you can do in situations
file back without her to keep it going.
What you can do is you can file what's called a motion for service by publication in New York State. And so that motion for service by publication would allow somebody who cannot be found or somebody who's deceased to be able to be served via publication in newspapers. And so that's how they would be notified of the lawsuit in those cases. That's another motion, though, which means more motion practice, which means we get more branches off of that wonderful thing. So if Kate does try to avoid service, this will get much more expensive for everyone. So I don't know. Maybe we won't hope for that, but it would be interesting, that's for sure. All right, let me hit a couple of these super chats here. You guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us, and thank you for supporting us over here. And don't forget to support Karl and Shuli as well. Beta Patched for $4.99. Thank you so much. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much argumentation and speculation would your witness do in their affidavits, asking for an enemy? Oh, should your witnesses do? That's a great question. We are going to look at some of the witness affidavits for John's side in a little bit. The answer is, I hate those affidavits. They're insane. They make a
very, very... We'll get to it. There's a lot of mistakes.
Okay. When you submit an affidavit where you are attesting to, under the penalty of perjury, that you are giving accurate information, you don't copy and paste that between every single person. The whole point of an affidavit like this, or an affirmation like this, is that you are giving your own personal testimony. And whatever, I gotta move on from that before I get too angry.
You open the door. You open the door. Let me finish one particular thought on that. Is that that's my biggest issue with them is that what they are, quote unquote, attesting to is what John told them, which is the exact definition of hearsay, which is not allowed as testimony.
Yes.
I mean, it is amazing.
And follow up, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much augmentation is in your blouse?
1 bra. Is that That's a good follow-up question. Very good. T. Benedict Spelled correctly. I love it. $5. Thank you so much. Thank God you're back doing this. I need some more advice. Got my paper and pen all ready to go take notes. You know, I got to be honest with you. Luigi and I were planning on doing this yesterday. We were planning on coming on yesterday. I am glad that we didn't, because one of the major mistakes that I noticed was sort of corrected yesterday. So I'm glad that we did not help you out there, Mr. T. Benedict. We also have Woody from Syracuse in for $4.99. Thank you so much. Did SJ disparage our Miss Lucy? Kaylee, on behalf of myself and everyone in the Dabbleverse, unleash the hounds of hell. I have heard.
Sadly, though, he's doing it to himself.
I heard that he said my boobies were creepy. I don't understand what creepy boobies are, but I have not actually seen that clip yet. I'm excited to learn about why nobody likes these things. You know?
I've yet to ever see a pair of creepy boobies.
Yeah, right? How do boobies be creepy? Whatever, I don't know. The amazing Donna G for $19.99. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's break this down. I have so many questions. Donna G, I want all your questions. Love you. Thank you so much. Pescado Joe, $4.99. Thank you. Luigi, I will continue to shout out you through your karmic X snipes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that has never happened. Lucy, take SJ behind the woodshed and give him the biz. Just do it in a bikini. Thanks. I will work on that. Donkey Brains for $5. Thank you so much. LT, I want you up on attempted murder charges. That pic of you in the lavender dress was killer. Thank you so much. That was from when Andy and I were just in Detroit on Who Are These Podcasts Live. We love it there in Detroit. It's amazing. Craig, New York 77. Craig, lovely seeing you. I've been seeing lots of comments lately. I appreciate them. $1.99. Keep killing it, guys. Very much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Laziest Man on Mars for $2. Lucy, no super tip account. Get that Monnier girl. Yes, I've actually talked with Patrick about this. We're fighting. We're not really. I just haven't gotten it set up yet. I will. I promise it's coming. Laziest Man on Mars for another $2. Lucy, stop saying harder. Or, I can't read. Or gristle or moist.
Gristle?
I'm going to say gristle from now on. That's actually a good one. I like that. We have I'm Partying the Hairs for $2 Canadian. Stuttering John's lawyer is filibustering to confuse everybody. Could not agree more, sir. It is really confusing up in this bitch right now. RDC Anthony, hello. $2 super sticker. Thank you so much. And then we have Inspector Harry Callahan for $20. Thank you so much. Love to you all. Been looking forward to the show. Thank you. We appreciate that. Yay. Big fan for $10. Just dropping 10 large to say thank you. Enjoy your show. Thank you, big fan. Salty name redacted. We got $2. Hello, ladies. You should let us gift memberships. Yeah, I know. That's another thing I need to set up. I'm too busy reading legal documents to do any of these things that might make me money. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Not why
really
she does it. She does it out of the love of the game.
I love talking about this stuff. It's just fun. It's very fun. Yep. Anthony Zenhauser, the amazing Anthony Zenhauser in the house, $5. Bring in Ira Chuckleberg. This Luigi guy passed the bar, but is he passed in any clubs?
Susser.
Yes. Perfect. I love it. Dang lizard for £2. Wait, I just saw that Tabber filed a proposed order. Yes, that is correct. He did today file even more documents. He has filed documents every single day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. He has filed new additional documents. So, Luigi, will you explain to everybody what a proposed order is? Because I don't know that everybody is familiar with that sort of terminology.
It's a standard part of a motion. It basically says that when you are asking the court for something, that you are going to save the court's time, type up the instructions yourself and ask the judge to sign it. It is very standard. It does not necessarily mean that it is being granted or that it's being denied. It's just part of the motion in which the judge will sign it if he approves.
Yes, absolutely. And so until that gets signed by the judge, if you look at that proposed motion, go all the way down to the bottom and you will see a little line for the judge to sign. Until that line is signed, that is nothingness. It's nothing. I mean, it's something, but it's nothing important. Dabble Don Zithorn for $1.99. Thank you so much. Oh, Lord, who invited Andy? I'm out. I guess I'm out too in that case. I don't know. Laziest Man on Mars for $2. Why New York County? Laziness. I know lazy.
I can't think of any other reason.
I still think it's maliciousness and related to some other person. I don't know.
All right. Well, I have another question regarding this.
Yeah.
I think so much of watching you read through the documents over the weekend had you asking yourself, how dumb are you? Referring to the person that is filing all of this. So then my thought process goes to, is this like so dumb it's clever? Like, is there any kind of intention with this? What, like you were saying, maybe they started filing it in New York County because they intended initially to have Kate Meany there, or is this just a parade of stupidity and there's nothing clever about it?
Every single thing is a whoopsie. I swear to God, I've never seen more mistakes in a court filed case ever. Now, mistakes happen in court filings all the time, and people do have to correct things and amend things. That's not super uncommon. A lot of the time when you're working on documents like this, you have your paralegal or legal assistant like me work on them. And everybody is human and everybody makes mistakes, especially if you're only paying them not that much money. So a lot of the time things do need to get amended and things do need to get corrected. The difference here is that procedurally nothing is being done correctly. Word-wise, nothing is being done correct. There's nothing being done correctly in this whatsoever.
I specifically said today that it would almost appear as if they are intentionally trying to piss off the judge with all of the overloading of filings and then messing them up and then correcting them over again. I don't know if Tabber has ever had a litigation case because it looks like he is completely unfamiliar with procedure.
It's okay. So that's another question.
Go ahead.
Okay. Is there some kind of, I've always said there's D+ students in every profession, whether it's like a doctor or a truck driver or a lawyer, there's somebody that barely passed, right? Is there some kind of database where you can figure out who's terrible, or is it just like your winning record, or is there like Yelp reviews where people could say this person sucked balls, don't use them, or
Yelp reviews maybe, but no, there's no scorecards and there's nothing like that. But
I think we're seeing a D- student here with Tabber Benedict.
This is something that I wasn't planning on bringing up because, again, we have a lot to talk about tonight, but I'm going to just bring it up because I found it to be very interesting. I recently discovered that somebody that we all know, Vince the lawyer, recently had another court case where somebody else filed a lawsuit against him. And in that lawsuit, it was a lawsuit that was relating to a lease situation. There was a sublease that was going on, so kind of boring stuff here. But one of the things that the plaintiff in that lawsuit said, the plaintiff was suing Vince the lawyer, and they said, well, one of the things that Vince the lawyer did was, this was another attorney. They said, when Vince the lawyer got upset at me, he used a whole bunch of sock accounts to go on to Yelp and trash my name and tell people that they shouldn't use me as an attorney. And that ruined my reputation, and therefore I did not get any work because of it, or I got less work because of it. So, Andy, you're correct that Yelp is going to generally be the place where you're going to find out if your attorney is good. Now, Tabber, we all know, has had some legal trouble of his own, and that is viewable. You can see all of the documents relating to the fact that he was, in fact, disbarred for a period of time due to lawsuits and jail time and those sorts of things. All of that. But I thought that lawsuit was kind of interesting. No? Right?
He lost that, right?
A little interesting.
Is that the one where he got beat up?
I wish. Good God. No, that lawsuit died on the vine. Now, I want to just show you guys a document that I've called whoopsies, because we were just talking about this idea that sometimes people make mistakes, right? this is a document that Tabber filed with the court, and this is his whoopsie, his first whoopsie that he's owning up to. So what he says in this is he is asking the court, he's telling the court, actually, I inadvertently filed the incorrect version of a document. And when I realized that, I recognized that it was the incorrect attachments. I recognized that it contained incorrect and deficiencies, and there was no accuracy, and it wasn't complete. And so because of that, I am going to refile the correct version of this. That's insane.
I've never seen anything like that before.
It's just like walking in and going, hey, I'm bad at my job. Can I please try again?
Now,
but also there was a deadline, which this would suggest, please notice that I messed up and that I'm also asking you to accept something past a deadline.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Now, let's talk about the deadline a little bit, because that is interesting. A lot of people keep saying, well, the deadline was passed, so the court's not going to accept this. That's frequently untrue. Rather. Courts do want to have deadlines, and they do want that. However, they're usually pretty lenient about them. They don't want people to have to go through additional motion practice so that we get more of those branches off of the service affidavits. They don't want there to be all of these additional motions sitting on their desk. So a lot of the time, if somebody's just a day or two outside of a deadline, they're like, it's fine. Who even cares?
Right.
So that's probably where that's going to go. Now, so this
I agree. But this complicates it. I was going to say this complicates that.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does. Will you describe to everybody how it complicates it?
It's basically testing the patience of the judge, because procedurally he has no obligation to take it. It's really kind of a courtesy. But if this person, Tabber, is now saying, well, I messed it up, and can you forgive my mess up and also accept something past the deadline? Yeah, I mean, the judge still might do it, but I'm just saying it's a gamble, and it's not something that it's a gamble that I would want to take. And just to say, the judge has no obligation to accept it. So, I mean, you really have a much higher chance, I should say, of getting the judge really angry at you and not wanting to do it. So
it does seem like the paperwork equivalent of showing up to your case wearing Crocs in court, and you're just asking to not be taken seriously, right?
You know what it is that it's a lot like John, basically, in that once he realizes he can ask you for one favor, he's going to ask you for a second favor and a third favor and a fourth favor. That's what's happening. They messed up on Thursday, and then it seemed to have they seem to have realized it on Saturday. We're going to talk about Friday. Friday's a different issue, but they seem to have realized it on Saturday for that. And then we're like, wait a minute, look, we realize we messed it up. Can we change it?
Yeah.
But we also need you to look at this other thing. Also with the second amendment, with the second amended complaint, which is also another favor we're asking for. I'm telling you, this is crazy. It is crazy. And there's just no logical way to put this into perspective or on a proper timeline or chronological way of doing it, because it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. And I guess, and I'm getting a little mixed up in the timeline. I don't want to skip ahead if
no, you're fine.
We're not getting there. But it seemed like maybe something came out today where they filed a whole thing of John qualifying, like, oh, what I meant when I said this was this, and I said this, but I felt that way about his knowing that he was being recorded, and I said that because I was embarrassed, but I was really humiliated and trying to save face. So even though I said this 2 months ago, I'd like to qualify that now. Is that normal?
No. None of this is normal.
None of this is normal. I'm not a judge or a lawyer, but that doesn't seem normal.
I know.
So
but let's try not to confuse it anymore.
I think that a good way that I think that kind of what Andy's question is, and what a lot of people are seeing, questions that I've been seeing kind of repeated all over the place across the board here have been, I noticed that there are a lot of affidavits signed by John. Why are there so many affidavits signed by John? So I want to kind of address that, and then let's talk about, again, some more whoopsies, what those affidavits are, all of those sorts of things. Why do we have so many affidavits signed by John? Anytime that there is a motion that is filed, the plaintiff himself, John, needs to sign off on an affidavit saying that he has reviewed it, that the information in that motion is accurate, confirming that all of the things make sense. And the reason that he has to do that is because Tabber, his attorney, wasn't there for any of these events. That is supporting, it's basically saying there's no hearsay here. Yes, I am affirming that all of this information is correct. So the reason that we have so many motions and the reason that we have so many affidavits from John is because Tabber has filed so many motions. So we need an affidavit in support every single time that there is a motion. Why are there so many motions? The answer to that is because Tabber's an idiot, as far as I can tell.
And they keep correcting the past motion.
Yes.
Each new thing is trying to correct the last thing.
I want to talk about these motions for just a minute, or I'm sorry, I want to talk about the affidavits in support for just a minute, because again, there are so many of them. So we're going to go through a couple of them, and then I am going to hopefully make a little bit more sense of these affidavits. So I'm going to pull up a few of these. We're going to have our affidavit of John. So this is the first affidavit that John signed here. This is going to be his affidavit in support of the motion for the second amended complaint. And this is going to show us just a little bit about what John is talking about here. So this is, I already forgot what this is. I mean, I literally just said it, but.
It's the affidavit from the 11th.
33. All right, so this is our affidavit here. And this is where John is describing what he is attesting to are accurate things within this motion. And you'll notice there I've highlighted at the bottom, in particular, John confirms that in 2024, Miss Meany, whom he considered a friend at the time, secretly recorded multiple telephone conversations with me without my consent or knowledge, and that he was in California, and that he suspected that Kate might have been involved, but he only recently became aware through discussions with potential witnesses that there may have been compensation involved, although those facts remain to be confirmed. So John is saying we need to start including Kate on this. That is what John is explaining within this affidavit. Now, he says we need to include Kate because we need to allow the court to hear his whole complete story. I want the court to understand how deeply I felt betrayed by Miss Meany's conduct. Luigi, would you call that normal language in any sort of legal document?
No, but also it has nothing to do with a right of publicity claim.
100%, yes.
It has nothing. That has, if he is trying to suggest that there are criminal charges or that there is something illegal, we've said it 1,000 times. That is for a criminal court to decide. It has no relevance whatsoever to a right of publicity claim.
But his feelings were hurt, Luigi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't take that into consideration.
In that case, let's put her in. Now, this here, again, it's talking about all this stuff. He starts paragraph 8 here, from my point of view. What a lofty thing to put into an affidavit that is supposed to include facts. Right?
I don't get it. I don't get any of this. I don't understand it.
It's nonsense. Okay, so now let's look at yet another affidavit of John, because one of the things that you will notice is that many of John's affidavits are exactly the same, and that's because they are part of the whoopsies where Tabber or whoever is filing the incorrect motions. So now we need yet another document filed with those things. So let me just actually go back and see if this one is a whoopsie. Maybe it is. There are many times where, do I have it? It's great. I'm doing the thing. I'm really happy about the fact that I just did that.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, so many whoopsies.
Whoopsie.
Okay, no, this one does not have the whoopsie that I was thinking of. All right, let's look at yet another affidavit, but signed by John.
And let's I feel like we should actually just have like a recap real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
To just tell the viewers that we're going back and forth here because things were filed in an erratic way.
Yes.
So just to bring everyone up to speed from a chronological standpoint, on Thursday of last week, John filed the request for leave for the second amended complaint, which is the attempt to bring Kate into the case. Okay?
And include Florida law. Don't forget.
Include Florida law. Yeah,
we have to include Florida law in our New York State filing. In our New York County filing. Let's be more specific about that. Go on.
Yeah, that was Thursday. On Friday, they filed the opposition, the response to the motion to dismiss. Okay? On Saturday, they filed, let's see, I'm pulling this up real quick, the correction to the response to the motion to dismiss. And then, all right, let's just stop there. I'm sorry. I'm even getting I'm even losing track. So that's where we are. Saturday.
I spent an ungodly amount of hours trying to untangle the mess of web that is existent in this case. There is no way that a judge is ever going to spend as much time on this trying to understand the comprehensive things that are happening, which the answer is there are no comprehensive things that are happening. No. There is no way that a judge is going to put the time and effort that I put into this. And because of that, the judge is, I really think, going to dismiss the case. But the reason that it's so incomprehensible is because things are filed out of order. There's corrections on top of corrections. There's complications. It just is complete nonsense. And here is yet another example of what is the nonsense of this, which is yet another affidavit that is signed by John. Now, this affidavit is supposed to be an affidavit in support of the opposition to the motion to dismiss.
Mm-hmm.
However, you'll notice there in paragraph 3 that it says, I submit this affidavit in support of the motion for leave for a cross motion, which is the second amended complaint. He is literally signing off on affidavits that are incorrect for the motions that they are supporting. In addition to that, you will notice up in the top there, again, we have Kate Meany listed as one of the defendants. She is not a defendant currently.
And let's just say, this is the 13th. This was supposed to correct the things they filed on Thursday. And so I guess we can say, so this is the 13th, which was supposed to be the correction of the filings. Well, then on the 14th, which was Sunday, they filed additional corrections of the corrections. And on the 15th, today, they filed corrections of the corrections of the corrections.
This is like it's like an I Love Lucy bit where the things are coming down the conveyor belt that can't be used, so it's just like piling up around their ankles because they keep filing shit wrong, trying to correct it, filing it wrong again, and just throwing it on the ground. And it is just standing in garbage.
It is absurd, and like I've said before, John never seems to want to pay for legal representation and always gets what he pays for. Yeah. And I don't know what his payment arrangement is with this lawyer, but I'm gonna guess that whatever it is, it's not enough to keep his lawyer interested, because
let's also
this guy has messed up.
Let's also not forget that he now has a team of lawyers. There is co-counsel who has been added in. It is somewhat regular for co-counsel to be added in on cases like this, because a lot of the time you will want somebody who specializes in litigation and somebody who specializes in defensive litigation, which is sort of what's going on here. So that's not super irregular, but that does mean that now John has a team of attorneys, which means more money. Now, I want, before we get too much further, because again, even Luigi and I are completely baffled by this. Andy also baffled, but he he's not an attorney like Luigi, so that kind of makes sense. Before we get too much further, I would like to present to you guys and everybody who is listening right now, thank you guys so much for listening, what I think was really going on with the affidavits. So again, we have, I think it's 5 different affidavits signed by John at this point. It's my opinion that this is what he was trying to say. I had somebody send this to me today, and I could not stop enjoying it.
Last year, I was taking an impressive 2 p.m. shit at the Pickwick's pubs when I was horrified to discover that my super hot ex-girlfriend had been convinced by Shitware to secretly record our very sexy and intellectual phone conversations without my knowledge or consent. I asked Michael Popok to send them a cease and desist, but he would not return my calls, emails, video streams, texts, or Venmo requests. So I had this other big-time New York attorney here demand they stop. I also went to the FBI, just like they do in the movies. They keep saying that I knew I was being recorded, but you can tell I didn't know because I used the N-word and the R-word multiple times. Both words that was banned by President Barack Obama in 2012. They made my begging for sex to a woman a quarter my age a centerpiece of a for-profit event they called DabbleCon 2. They used my name and objectively handsome image to promote the event on their online shows, played snippets of the illegal recordings to generate excitement, and sold tickets to fans both in person and for a paid live stream. They even stole my cat's IKEA litter box, my couch cushions. And while I do admit that the cushions were discarded, I did not give consent to obtain all the fluids I had left within the fabric. Those are mine, and I want them back. Throughout this entire ordeal, I have never consented to any of this. My private life was turned into a commodity for defendants to sell for their own profit, causing me significant emotional distress and harming my reputation as a drunken, smelly retard who does tricks for dollars on the internet. Having watched To Kill a Mockingbird at least twice, I would like to properly oppose their motion to dismiss and demonstrate that my claims have a substantial basis in law. I need information that only the defendants possess, including all revenue derived from these activities, the number of subscribers, ticket buyers, and online paying customers for their events and content, and close-up images of Jenny Jingle's massive jugs. Please let Karl and Shuli know that I'd like my settlement delivered as a comically sized cardboard check written out in my mother's name. I wouldn't want all that dosh to end up as child support payments to my whore of an ex-wife. Your Honor, I rest my case.
So I think that at least gives us a little bit. It helped, right? You understand a little bit more about what he wants?
Yeah. Shout out Corndiff for narrating that.
Now, what's great, though, is that now that we know that his lawyer actually offered a settlement, he was willing to not take any of that. I just want a cat turd. Cat turd's back.
He probably also wants the pictures of Jenny Jingles' massive jugs, but that's unrelated, you know. All right, let's hit a couple more super chats, and then we still need to get into, like you just mentioned, that settlement letter. There is, again, just so much today. We definitely are not going to get through absolutely everything, but I want to answer as many questions as you guys have, and we're probably going to have to come back. And like I mentioned, there is a court date on Friday. The motions are on submission on Friday, so there's probably going to be very big updates. I suspect that we will be back soon, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. We're not going anywhere tonight. Yeah. We still got probably an hour of talking about this tonight, but... all right, we have Andrew Kelso. Thank you so much for the $5. With you guys making a big deal about John filing in New York, why was Depp versus Heard in Virginia despite neither one of them being there? Great question. Sometimes people transfer venues to other locations because there's too much publicity in the location that they're at. in order to do that, they have to make a motion to request that venue be transferred. Because Depp and Heard were such massive celebrities like Stuttering John, as we all know,
Don't even
they needed
pretend.
to be
Please
in
don't.
a court. They needed to be
Please.
in a court.
I will leave. I will leave.
I'm just saying what he says. But because that case, they needed to actually bring it to a place where there was less bias is the answer to that question. Oh, of course, the baby burden. $1.99. Thank you so much. My favorite barrister, Lee G. Greenstein. Hey.
Block him. He's blocked.
Never.
Blocked.
Never. Hamhead for $2.
Thank you, Karl.
Why is Luigi suing Tennessee?
That's when I said that I would sue Andy in Tennessee.
Yes.
What's up, Hammers?
I love it. We got Laziest Man on Mars for $2. Luigi Greenberg, big Jew from Naples, Italy. Oh, baby.
That's right.
And we have the absolutely amazing Raper Butt for $1.99. Sup to you, Raper Butt. Thank you for always letting me bounce legal questions off of you. The amazing John Skimpy Halloween Hand. I just got to hang out with him in Detroit. Great. Wonderful to see you in the chat here. $2. I'm head over heels for Karl/Shuli's lawyer. I think that we all are. Let's be honest.
I hope that he is invited to DabbleCon 3 and I get to buy him a drink.
I think that he's going to get very drunk if we all buy him drinks at DabbleCon 3.
Yes.
But, all right, we got Mars, the amazing Mars for $2. Who's stupider, John or Tabber? I'm going to have to go with John, but it's a tough call.
Here's the thing, though. You know, you've heard the term that crazy will find crazy, and there's a pot for every, or a lid for every pot. This one is really out there. Like, I find that John found his equivalent in Tabber. This is what John would be as a lawyer. We'll just file this. Oh, shit. We did the wrong thing. Let's file something again. Wait, we sent the same thing? Oh, shit. Let's file it again. We sent the same thing again?
Well, we've heard stories about how exhausting it is to deal with John. So I have to wonder how much time these two idiots are spending on the phone together. And when does the Tabber run out of patience from looking at his phone? Oh, it's John again. Another 20 minutes of listening to some horse shit. Then he just to turn around and go do all these petty fucking filings. And you have to start asking yourself, how much is my time worth? Like, what am I doing with my life?
There are two big things that I have said. I believe I said them in our first show, which is one, if you're not paying your lawyer money, they don't have a vested interest in your case. Meaning they have every excuse to not care about it if you are not paying them. Once you pay them, you are paying for their attention. John doesn't ever seem to figure that out because that's what we're seeing here. Someone who does not have a vested interest in John's case, couldn't care less. And number two is that by picking a lawyer who has been out of the legal scene for as long as he was, because he was in prison, he is trying to build up a law firm from the ground and might not have the resources to dedicate to painful, pain in the ass, pro bono cases like John's. And there's so many reasons why this went wrong. So many, just so many. And yeah, and then throw on top of it, John's an asshole.
Right. That's really why I would want to drop the case.
So Andy, who's stupider, John or Tabber? I got lost in there. John. All right. And I think Luigi.
My jury's out.
We'll have to wait for the corrections to the corrections to the corrections to the corrections filings tomorrow in order to be able to answer that question. We have Sean for $4.99. Thank you so much, Sean. Greatly appreciated. Laziest Man on Mars back with $5. Lucy, your septum piercing belies how smart/capable you are. You are not vapid. You are not vapid danger hair, nor does your farmer wants you to stop rooting in the mud. Yeah, people really hate the septum ring. I'm just too lazy to take it out. That's why it exists. But thank you, I think. I think there was a compliment in there. Thanks. We have Labyrinth Mystic. Yahoo, $5. Isn't the reason for filing in New York County because that is where the Howard Stern show was? That's where Stuttering John's fame is based on. Also rights to publicity law. So again, the answer to the last part of that is Monroe County is also in New York State, so they could have also sued based on that right to publicity law within Monroe County. And then to back up here, SJ's fame based on, first of all, doesn't matter. That's not how we decide jurisdiction. Second of all, Danny did this wonderful job of talking about how he doesn't have any career opportunities in the film or television industries anyway. So what the heck? And then finally, the Howard Stern show being based, that has nothing to do with this case.
Yeah. All the same laws that they would, that the case would be judged upon are the same throughout every county in New York.
Yes.
Because this is based on state law. We just can't figure out why they chose this one that was completely unassociated with all of the facts of the case as far as county. It makes no sense whatsoever. But now that we've introduced the concept of Kate, they're trying to tack on New York County because it's where Kate lives, which is a day late and a dollar short. So why didn't they do that from the beginning? Why didn't they do any of this from the beginning?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think that dragging Kate into this was a really, really dumb idea. I have a big sneaking suspicion. This is just based entirely on speculation, but I have a big sneaking suspicion that Kate is not going to be happy about this. And not only is she not going to be happy about this, but I suspect that she probably has stuff on John because they've spent a lot of time on the phone together.
There's a lot of rumors.
I've been seeing things in Dabblers Anonymous. I've been seeing some stuff going around. I don't know about any of that for sure, but I got to be honest. Him dragging her in seems like it is going to be a very bad idea for him when she gets around to making her own claims.
That would be the only explanation as to why they didn't do it in the first place, because like we've said, a thorough lawyer would have brought in several more defendants to this because there were so many other people involved. This is obviously a vendetta against Shuli and Karl specifically. Yes. But we never understood why Kate wasn't involved in the first place. And I'm going to guess that...
Love is the reason.
Yeah, you're never going to win her back this way, John. You idiot.
Or knowledge. Knowledge that she can own you.
Interesting.
Yeah. We'll see how this plays out.
All right, we got to get caught up on these super chats so that we can get back into the documents because I feel like we're still on Thursday here. Laziest Man on Mars, $2 more. Thank you so much. Sup, Andy? Met you at DabbleCon 1. Good talk.
Sup, lazy?
We got El Diablo coming in for $5 Canadian. What is the worst 3 years of a blank's life? First grade. We have Laziest Man on Mars coming back for $2. Tub lady in The Shining had creepy boobies. That is a good answer to what creepy boobies are. yes.
I yelled that out, but we were already moving on. That was my answer.
I missed
too.
it.
Speak for yourself.
I think Laziest Man on Mars figured it out first.
I said I've never seen a pair of creepy boobies.
Oh my God, you guys are weird. Daddy Poopy for $1.99. Thank you so much. That's for Luigi.
Hootie tootie, LOLsuit cutie.
Yes, I can't love do it. Yes, I love it. It's perfect. It's absolutely amazing. We have Lou Sanus, Canadian $2. Thank you so much. Why is the dog whisperer here? We have Hellraiser 69 in for $1.99 super sticker. Thank you so much, Hellraiser. I hope we'll see you soon, actually. I think you have something else that you're coming back up for. I don't remember now. JMax479, $10 for another super sticker. Thank you so much, JMax. Michael P for $4.99. I appreciate your take on this. I'm going to yank it to Luigi's AI chest. Oh, yeah, I read that sentence wrong and only just got caught up on it as I was reading it here. Or Andy's. Go Bills. Congratulations, gentlemen. I'm very proud of you. Grim Aaron, $10. I think VTL is involved. He is doing it to waste everybody's time, money, and try to scare them. Lucy, can you show us how you're going to bounce up and down to celebrate John's losing the lawsuit? I will tell you this. If he loses, when this is over, I will jump up and down. I'm going to go ahead and just say that right now. You got to remind me and hold me to it because I'm going to forget that I said those words. Yeah, get me a trampoline and I will do girls jumping on trampolines and we will have a grand old time. But I do agree with you regarding some particular person there.
I just got back to trampoline. What?
Raper Butt coming in for another $1.99. Did John sign those affidavits in crayon? Great question. It looks like an electronic signature that he copy and pasted to every single one of the affidavits. His signature is actually really funny on them. I really enjoy it.
But they were printed on they were printed on the back of a pizza box.
Oh, but have you ever seen, like, a lot of times now they just AI generate a version of your signature? You just select it, and it's probably that. There's no way his signature is legible in any way.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't know that he could spell his name.
Right.
All right, we got Drunk Engineer coming in for $5. Thank you so much. Your Honor, I'd like to invoke the "this is why pencils have erasers" clause and start this whole LOLsuit again. He's not going to be able to do that. If this gets dismissed, I think they're going to have some major statute of limitations issues. But that is exactly what he would say. Jay Loiterer for $4.99. Thank you so much. Guys, it's obvious why this was filed in Manhattan. To get New York press for John. Love you guys. Love you too, Jay Loiterer. Rumpled Trench Coat, a Columbo podcast, $2. Sounds like SJ's lawyer has correctile dysfunction. I like it. I like it. Donald Kunzer for $5. This is like a subplot for a movie. This is like a subplot in the movie and Justice for All. You could not write this.
This is science fiction.
Yes. It's unbelievable. I literally could not write this. I tried to write this into a storyline so that we could have a cohesive episode today and could not write this because it's so incomprehensible. It's insane.
Nonsense.
Dabble much, $10. Please, please, please let Kate pursue charges. That is the talk of the town right now. I don't think she's going to be happy about getting named in this lawsuit, y'all. I think something's coming down the pike. Coco's Jingle Shoes, $5. Your Honor, I demand you make Miss Meanie give me the band session that she made me think I was going to get. Yeah, I did. That's the settlement on her end. That's the settlement he asked for her. We have Gary here for £2. Luigi is still 51% for dismissal. Luigi, is it still 51% for dismissal or higher now? Great question. Luigi previously stated that he believed that it was about a 51% chance of dismissal based upon Karl and Shuli's motion to dismiss. What do you think now?
I think there is a higher percentage, but I don't know where to put it, so I'll just stick with 51. But, I mean, yeah, but for completely different reasons, though. Now I think it's just a matter of if this judge has any chip on his shoulder, he's not going to put up with this. And I'm going to just keep my fingers crossed that we get that kind of judge.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I mean, the judge who has been assigned to this, I can't remember his first name, but his last name is Cohen. He seems to be a very reasonable judge. So I feel good about that, I suppose.
Yeah,
right?
I'm confident. I don't mind saying I'm confident for my friends.
I do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
How much precedent of the serious case would apply to looking at John's reasons for filing something like this as being just chasing money and that being thrown out and somebody looking at this and saying, well, this guy is just like drunk swinging to get a paycheck.
That's what the SLAPP lawsuit or as the SLAPP statute attempts to identify, essentially, which is you're trying to do this for a cause that is not sincere, for lack of a better word. You're just trying to intimidate someone. You're trying to stop them from voicing their opinion, and or maybe looking for a payday. And so they have essentially rung that bell with the court to say that they believe it is a SLAPP statute, is a SLAPP lawsuit under the anti-SLAPP statute. And for that reason, if the court was to determine that it is in fact that type of lawsuit, John would be on the hook for everybody's legal charges. Everybody's, not just his.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. And I totally have to agree with Kaylee in that it's not going to be an easy determination or simple, and it's not something that's going to be just determined on the spot. There's going to be a hill to climb, but I do think that ultimately there's enough there to suggest that that's what this is.
Okay, and that's another question I have about how fast or slow because it feels like this paperwork thing is coming fast and furious. But once like court appearances happen, let's say how fast is all this going to be resolved, or is it too arbitrary to determine? Or how? I mean, I know there's versions where it could drag on for years, right? But
not this phase. This phase, I'm gonna put it on a couple of months. But no, please, you say whatever you want to say, Kaylee.
So let me just pull up some interesting stuff. So I know everybody's been pulling, especially on Dabblers Anonymous. I've been seeing all of you guys pulling all of these great documents through NICEF, but there's also an additional court system that we use within New York State, which is called eCourts. eCourts is going to give you information about the actual court dates. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like right now. So you can see here, we have our court dates and our court information here. I'm just pulling it up so that I can actually read it myself. Hang on. So what we have here is that we have two different motion sequences. The first motion sequence is relating to the motion for dismissal that Danny for Karl and Shuli has filed. The second motion sequence is relating to the motion to change venue. And you can see the two middle lines on this little spreadsheet here show that both of those motions are scheduled to be heard on Friday, which is 9/19. Those motions are going to be on submission only, which means that a judge is going to sit down in a courtroom with all of those documents, with all of these documents that are filed within those motion sequences, and he is going to review them. Now, again, I've already mentioned the motion sequences and how much Tabor has messed that up. Technically, how this is scheduled, his motion to amend is not scheduled to be read during those court dates because he filed it under motion sequence 3. Now on his correction of the correction of the correction, he finally fixed that because he finally realized it. I think that was actually the corrections filed today. So the judge is going to sit down with all of this paperwork. He's going to try to make sense of it on Friday.
I'm telling you, again, I want to say this. I'm not going to say this with certainty, but I will say it is very possible. I know there is a judge out there that would look at this and just write this whole thing off and throw it out immediately.
It's not a judge. And in New York County, I deal with New York County judges somewhat frequently. In my role as a paralegal, I deal with these judges somewhat frequently. They will not stand for this. They are all no nonsense kinds of guys. They don't give a fuck if you filed something procedurally wrong. If you filed it procedurally wrong, which this has been repeatedly wrong again and again and again and again, every single time it's been wrong. When it is wrong that much, the judge looks at it and goes, fuck this. I'm not looking at this. I'm not sifting my way through this. Again, like I said, I spent 7 hours trying to sift through this, and I still don't understand the logical whatever the heck is happening with anything because there is no logic to it. A judge is not going to sit down with this for 7 hours at 9:30 in the morning. At 9:30 in the morning, that judge is going to go, yes, I had my morning blowy, or no, I didn't. Here I am with my cup of coffee, and I'm giving this 20 minutes. That's what he's going to do. He's got to look at 100 other motions on this day.
He's going to say, dazzle me within the bounds of procedure, and you didn't do it.
Yes.
I guess it's just hard for me to say anything with certainty because anything's possible. But I 100% agree with what you're saying. New York judges do not like this shit because you know what you're adding to them? Work. Adding for them work. You're adding additional responsibilities, additional layers that are unnecessary to the procedural way of the things are done, and they don't like that. They do not like that.
How many times do they have to read the word Dabbleverse before they go, I don't know what the fuck this is, so I'm not touching
couch
this.
cushions. Jesus Christ. I believe that it is entirely possible that the judge will look at this on Friday and say, this is too muddled up for me to waste my time on. Dismissed. I believe that that is possible. However, you will also notice that the top line here has an additional conference scheduled for December 16th. Everybody mark your calendars. What is going to be happening on December 16th is it looks like there is going to be an in-person appearance. This is labeled as a preliminary conference. I am guessing that this is going to be something like a settlement conference. So a settlement conference that occurs through the courts is kind of like, basically the intention of it is to make sure that the two parties, the plaintiff and the defendants, are having settlement negotiations to see if there is a mutual agreeable outcome that can avoid all of the court proceedings. Now, we all know that there's been a settlement offer. So I think that leads us perfectly into talking a little bit about the settlement offer.
And this court case in
excited?
December is in New York County?
Yes, correct. So this will be in the courthouse in New York County.
Assuming that the case is still active at the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
More than likely, this will not be a appearance that Karl and Shuli show up to. Typically, these sorts of preliminary conferences are going to be things where it's just the attorneys in a room, sometimes with a referee. Sometimes a referee will be appointed. Referees in court cases are very, very similar to referees in sports. Basically, what a referee does in a court case is it is an unbiased person. It is somebody who is not there for the plaintiff. It is somebody who is not there for the defendants. It is somebody who is not there for the courts. They are an unbiased party who is going to make sure that everybody is playing nice in the sandbox, for lack of a better term.
That's true. And there's also a discussion of basically scheduling, letting everyone know here are the dates for discovery. Here are the dates for a proposed trial. Here are the dates that you need to have, these things on file. It's a layout of that sort of thing. But yes, you're absolutely right. The first thing is, where are we on getting this off my plate? That's what the judge wants.
The judge wants it off his docket. The last thing that he wants are these stacks and stacks of papers that make no sense whatsoever. He's like, get rid of this. I either want to grant it or I want to dismiss it. I don't want it anymore.
Is it
I don't want
public? Can a weirdo stand in the corner with a Zoom recorder and record it? Can I be there for this?
You got to ask permission.
It depends. It depends. All right, so let's talk a little bit about all this settlement stuff. We have skipped over a couple of other things. I want to kind of go back and forth. I know, again, we're going back and forth. The reason that we're going back and forth is because none of this makes any dang sense, because Tabber is, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, well, let me see this. I would not hire Tabber as my attorney.
I wouldn't hire him to pump my fucking gas. This guy is something else.
It's almost, again, this couldn't be a movie script because it's too unbelievable what we've been getting. All right, so let's talk about the settlement offer. We had one of the things that Tabber and John have done is that they requested the second amended complaint. They wanted to add in Kate Meany. They wanted to include some Florida law. And in addition to that, they wanted to bump up the request for money from $600,000 to $850,000. On the same day that they made that request, they also submitted...
Yes, please tell us what happened on that same day.
They also requested a potential settlement, or at least trying to open the door to settlement. So let's take a peek at that. And Luigi, I would like you to tell us, while I'm pulling up this document, what makes this so egregious?
Well, I'm going to tell you there's a couple of things. Hopefully I name the one that you have in mind, but there's more than one. First of all, plaintiffs aren't usually the ones that make a request for a settlement. That's just not typically
Why?
the way it works. Because the fact that they want their $850,000 that they established in the complaint to begin with. They said we want $850,000.
They're the ones who are hurt. Yeah, they're the ones who are damaged.
That are hurt. And then on top of that, what they definitely don't do is say, I want $850,000, but I'm willing to settle for you to not talk about me with no mention of a dollar amount for settlement, but still call it a settlement. So literally he's saying, let's talk settlement. And then what we have in mind for a settlement is that Karl and Shuli can't talk about us. Do you accept? No mention of money. None.
Now, I completely agree with you. I think there's something else that nobody has really been talking about. And this is really a question for you, Luigi, because I could be entirely off base on this. So like you just mentioned, this settlement letter is describing the fact that we don't really want the $850,000, which is now what they're requesting for. We don't really want that. We just want
you silenced.
Please be nice. So to me, that reads as an admission of censorship. This is admitting. So again, let me finish my thoughts, and then you can tell me if I'm right or wrong.
You are absolutely right already.
To me, this letter reads as though John is admitting that his ultimate goal is to censor the defendants, to censor Karl and Shuli. He says, I don't want you guys to talk about me anymore. As long as you stop talking about me, you don't have to give me $850,000. Now, to me, doesn't that really lead right into the anti-SLAPP stuff that we've talked about so much? Wouldn't this be a perfect example of why this is an anti-SLAPP case? That we are talking about this here settlement offer right here, where we're saying, the only reason I'm doing this is to make you hush hush. I just don't want you to say any more words about me. That's anti-SLAPP, right?
And not only is it anti-SLAPP, it satisfies every element of a SLAPP lawsuit, specifically to censor someone's negative criticism while not seeking actual legal damages or not seeking actual, legal, I don't know what you would just call it, remuneration for damages, because it is only trying to silence critics. And this guy sent a letter that said, let's talk settlement as long as it ends with censorship. Bad move, dickhead. Right? Bad move.
Yeah. This settlement letter was a
bad move.
This was a comical whoopsie. I'm going to say it that way. This is a comical whoopsie. This shocked me because the first thing that I thought of when I read this was censorship. And I was like, are you out of your mind? Not only did he send this letter, but then he filed it with the courts. Tabber filed this with the court.
He's showing it to the judge. He's showing it to the judge.
He's proud of this. He's really proud of it. It's funny, right?
I'll drop the case if you say don't cross the Duke, and that's all goes away.
But like John, who believes that as long as you say YouTube terms of service, you are absolved of any violation of the YouTube terms of service, he submitted this, but he had his fingers crossed when he did it. And he said, no, shoo, retarded anti-SLAPP law. Like, it is so stupid that he did this. And honestly, I don't even know really what this was in support of. It wasn't even necessary to file this with the court.
He's an idiot. Filing this is like, that is, Jesus. You're not acting in good faith as an attorney if you're doing something like that, but whatever. I want to kind of tail end this revelation with a good question that I'm seeing here in the chat from Team Pen 2007. This says, if John loses and has to pay Karl and Shuli court and attorney's fees, it will completely break him. Now, I want to address this because we have talked about this quite a bit, but I do think that there's something relevant, which is that
John is dumb.
John doesn't have any money.
Yeah.
So we're all talking about, okay, wouldn't this be wonderful if Karl and Shuli prevail on SLAPP, and they get all of their attorney's fees paid for, and that's going to be just so dandy. Now, again, I think that is unlikely to happen. Courts do not like to do that. However, there's a lot of good reasons for it to happen. That being said, let's say that they do prevail. Let's say Karl and Shuli get awarded all of the court costs, all of the attorney fees, all of everything. If that happens, John can't pay for anything because he's already deeded his house to his mom for $1 or whatever the heck happened. How is he going to pay? What is he going to do? Get rid of assets? Does he have any assets? What liens are against him? And so we're talking about this in a way where we're like, that's the goal, is we want to see that this is happening. That doesn't do anything for Karl and Shuli because they are never going to be able to recoup the losses that they've had on this because John doesn't have any assets. And he should be afraid of that because if he ever does have assets, they will be able to take it if they prevail here.
They will. And
boom.
All I can say is that they shouldn't. They need to say goodbye to their money. I think that reasonably they do need to just say goodbye to their money. However, I don't feel like it's right to simply call it an expense. I call it an investment in content for several years right now.
They keep saying, and let's all agree, we cannot wait for DabbleCon 3. DabbleCon 3 is going to be insane. So I am happy to announce, I bet a bunch of people have already seen this, but I was very excited about it. Karl and Shuli did talk last night on TSN about this settlement offer because everybody was dying to know, will they accept the settlement offer? And I have long said, if they did that, boy, would they be stupid because I don't think anybody could ever respect them again. Now, I will say, if a good settlement offer comes around, I could understand why they would accept it because, again, I think they need to say goodbye to their money. But I think that so many people would have such a hard time with them settling. So I'm happy to share with everybody here Karl and Shuli's response to this settlement offer.
And Karl and I share this opinion. At this point, there is no going back. There is no settling. This was something that nobody here asked for. Everyone had moved on. Both shows were doing less and less John and moving on to other shit. And this was all him coming back and doing this and trying to financially break both of us and our channels and the shows.
And I think that Shuli said that so well. I think that so much of the intention here is relating to hurting Karl and Shuli more than it is relating to any legal boundaries being crossed. And that's a shame to me because these people are my friends and I don't want to see them be bankrupt. I don't want to see them be pitted against each other. I want everybody to just be happy and healthy and have a good time on the internet. Why can't we all play nice?
I was talking about this on my Patreon with Joe Sixpack, allapologiespodcast.com. And when you talk about what the value of enduring all of this is what I always say about Raiders of the Lost Ark. And it's that, does it look like Indiana Jones is having fun in the movie? No, but it's a great story. And when this is all said and done, these guys are going to be Harrison Ford and John is going to be a Nazi with his face melted off. And it's going to be a great story that they're going to be able to rebuild their shows upon. So
Karl and Shuli have talked a lot. They've talked a lot about wanting to be able to finally tell all of the behind the scenes things that have been happening on this. I know lots has been going on behind the scenes that we are all not aware of, and I cannot wait for them to tell that tale when this is all over. Let's check out one more clip from them talking about how they are not going to settle. They're in it to win it.
It's very gay to get the courts involved in your hurt feelings. Yep. And so if we were to even think about settling with this R word, that would just open up a floodgates for everyone who's getting their feelings hurt. Just be like, I'll just start filing lawsuits for right of publicity or restraining orders or whatever. Like, it's ridiculous. You have to fight these things.
Yeah, and there's no going back. And fuck him, fuck you. Why Why would I settle with you over anything? So yeah, that's our answer, man. We're in it.
We're in it to win it, baby.
Mm-hmm. And I am very happy to hear that they
Fuck
are a
you,
united
John.
front on that. Fuck you, John.
Fuck
you,
you.
John.
FBTL.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's hit some more super chats. We have Mr. Devons 199. When dismissed, John have viable malpractice case?
I think that if this does get dismissed and thrown out on, on behalf of, I keep wanting to say Karl and Shuli.
Yeah, it's really easy to do.
Yeah, if it does get thrown out on behalf of Karl and Shuli, I think an argument can be made because this is very similar to the Alex Jones incident where Alex Jones's lawyer really fucked up bad in their case. I never heard of any sort of malpractice lawsuit after that, but I did think he was entitled for a malpractice case with that one.
I gotta say, maybe if he does have that malpractice case, that's how Karl and Shuli can eventually recoup all the money that they're going to get in the fees and costs for attorney fees. Not, again, I don't really think that that's going to happen. But
don't give John ideas.
We'll
take the money
that
later.
Doesn't help him in any way. That's worse for him. Dang
I'm
lizard
saying, but
for €5.
let him go through it.
Oh, yeah. Can John's sworn affidavit that the cushions were stolen from his property, despite him knowing otherwise, and watching the video be considered perjury? There are so many instances in
Not
this
just that.
stuff.
Let's do that next when we're done here, because perjury is a great topic, Dang Lizard. Thank you.
Yes. I'm going to have you, Luigi, you're going to remember for us that we're going to go back to the topic of perjury when we are done here. In the meantime, we have Keith J73 for $1.99 Canadian super sticker. Thank you so much. And we have Dabble Much coming back in for $5. Am a big fan and enjoying the hell out of this, but it's like fingernails on a chalkboard every time you pronounce it. Affidavit. Oh yeah, I do. That's a Rochester thing. Also documentary. Nobody likes my pronunciation.
You'll learn to survive, sir.
It's okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. Or Beta Patched for another $5. Thank you so much. I've been waiting for the show since Saturday. I can't get over how stupid those witness affidavits are. It is insane. We'll get into those too. Donna G for $20. Thank you so much. Why do we think SJ's old episodes became public over the weekend?
I've heard theories on this. Has anybody else heard theories on this?
I've heard theories. What is your theory? What are the theories you've heard?
The theory I heard is that he is apparently making the ones public in which he is expressing outrage for being recorded to hopefully... the only reasoning would be in an effort to suggest that he was shocked
to bolster
from
his
not
case.
knowing that he was being recorded, when it still has nothing to do with a right of publicity claim. Fucking idiot.
And in addition to that, no judge is ever going to go look at any of that shit while they're reviewing this paperwork. No, it's not going to happen.
I swear to God, it is like a Marx Brothers, Three Stooges episode of what the fuck is happening in that camp. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But God damn it if it's not funny.
Yeah. Did I see somebody said how many Exhibit A's is somebody gonna introduce into a case?
So that is every single time that there is a motion, there is going to be exhibits affiliated with that motion. The reason this one gets so complicated and why we're all so confused about this is because they're filing the wrong exhibits with motions. They're labeling them incorrectly. I don't even think that some of the things that they're labeling as exhibits should be exhibits. You don't usually see an attorney affirmation labeled as an exhibit, and that is happening here. I've never seen that before in my life. That's not how we do things in New York. None of this is how we do things in New York. It doesn't make any dang sense. I don't understand.
I'd like to submit this video of me drunk with Joey C. And
yeah, that's.
Wait till you see the affidavits. Wait till you see the affidavits. These are gonna blow your fucking mind, Andy.
Insane. All right, Rumpled Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast for $5. SJ somehow found a lawyer who wasn't a lawyer for a while, who is also a drunk driver, who will work for free. They deserve each other. Well said, sir. Mars for $5. John said that in 2024, he found out that people were making money off of him, but every other show of his starting 7/7/23, he cried about that. Yes, I agree. That is another instance of potential perjury that we have going on here that we will get
and
into
also
in a moment.
statute of limitations, maybe.
Bingo. Sorcerer for $20. Thank you so much, Sorcerer. This is incredible. Kaylee for the Monday W. Worth the wait. Best coverage of this nonsense. Bravo. I appreciate that, sir, because this is a hard one to cover. I'm actually just thinking, maybe what we should do at some point, Luigi, I'm putting you on the spot on this. You can say no to me. Maybe we should make short little 5 or 10-minute videos on each one of the documents so that people can understand what happened in each one of the documents and they can kind of watch them at their leisure. That might be a good idea. We'll talk about that later.
I'll just fart in a jar.
That's perfect. I will as well. And then who knows which one you get.
Yeah.
We got Nigsaw coming in for $2. Luigi, did you go to Disney on Gay Week with that shirt?
If anybody understands, I get that joke, Nigsaw. That is good. Does anyone remember the high-pitched mic R.D. Lang fight about Gay Day at Disney when they were wearing the red shirts? Anybody?
I believe you.
All right.
I believe you.
That's a deep pull. Great joke though. That's good. I like that.
I'm glad I didn't change that.
Lesson, kids. Don't file your rough draft. Amen. Good God, sirs. They're really bad at that. Locks and dots for
your
a
rough
$5
draft with
super
lies.
Yeah. Your rough draft with 50 mistakes, your lies, the documents literally read as if a paralegal drafted them and an attorney didn't read them. I don't know that to be the case here, but that's how these documents are reading to me.
Remember what I said? They told John, write it yourself. Remember.
I know you keep saying that. I still don't think that. I think it's too good for John. I think it's too bad for an attorney, but too good for John.
It's retarded.
I don't know. We got T. Benedict back in the chat here for $5. If you guys think Karl/Shuli most likely won't be able to recoup their costs, then John is still going to look at this as a win. I think that the only win for him is them not talking about him.
But
we got Club One.
He's going to be humiliated if this goes the way we expect it to. It is going to be thrown out for incompetence. Yeah. That's not a win. And the world's going to know it.
But you have to think about in the terms of a narcissist that is going to do the mental gymnastics of turning it into a W. So
I don't care what he says, as long as the world knows that he's an idiot.
Well, right. I mean, we know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got Club 102 coming in for $5. Thank you so much. Everyone is always talking about how pretty LTB is, but I'd rather talk law over a fancy romantic meal at Taco Bell. You know the way into my heart. That's the answer. And we got Turd Ferguson in here for $5. New York County is because that's where the Spirit Airlines will take him from Tampa. That's an interesting theory. We also have Craig New York coming in for another $2. The Netflix Dabble Court movie, The Cast. Go.
I do think there is a legit possibility of a documentary about all of this in the future, because I love obscure documentaries about insane topics. Maybe I need to be the one to spearhead this idea. But
all right, who plays
for
Karl?
The cast, I don't know Karl, but John should be played by Danny DeVito, wearing a mask that makes him look grotesque. Karl.
Michael Cera.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I like
Corey Stoll plays Shuli.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Who's going to play me?
Who plays Kate Meany?
Ooh. Emily Blunt.
That's a good answer. I like that. I like it. All right, we got Rumpled Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast coming in for $10. Is SJ's offer to settle for no money, but making Shuli and Karl no longer talk about him going to make the argument for a SLAPP lawsuit, he's literally trying to silence them. Yes, we did talk about this. Absolutely, I could not possibly agree with you more.
Definitely doesn't help his case.
Dabbledon Zithorn for $2. John has no money. Could they take his car or house? They could try.
They could try.
I don't know whose name the house is in anymore. Shaka John coming in for $5. John will become homeless before he reimburses Karl and Shuli. Look at what he did to avoid paying child support. Agreed.
I want them to take his box. Whatever box he's sleeping in, I want to own it.
It's a shame he doesn't have those couch cushions anymore to sleep on.
Yeah.
We have Dave Doors coming in for $5. Can they show SJ clips of him bullying, intimidating, and threatening to sue as evidence in a SLAPP suit? It definitely is something. I mean, all of these things can come out, and we haven't really even talked about the fact that there really is a lot of possibilities of information coming out because of all these motions that have been filed by Tabber and John. Yeah. There's allegations within these motions about things like John's relationship with his oldest child.
Oh, that's what I've been waiting for. That's what I've been waiting to talk about.
Becomes a part of discovery, right? And so we have all of these different things, and I could not agree with you more. This could be something that becomes relevant to the case. As of this moment, I don't think that it's relevant. Luigi, would you agree with that?
I do agree. I believe it is perfectly possible that those things could be brought in as evidence at trial, not now.
Yeah. All right, next up we have Text Hula for $10. I was saving this chat for a question, but Andy's been doing a good job covering that. Those boobs ain't creepy. Lucy Typebox World Order. Thank you. It's really nice that you're being so nice to Andy and his boobs not being creepy. I'm sure that he appreciates that.
They are kind of creepy, especially the left one.
All right, next up we have John O'Reilly for $2. We got Lucy 100% right. New York City will let the appellate division decide. I could not agree with that more. New York County is going to say, I'm not looking at this. I'm going to dismiss it. And if they want to bring it up to the higher court, I've been saying the whole time, the only way that they're going to get a decision out of New York County is, I think ultimately it will end up in a dismissal from New York County, and then John and Tabber will have to make a decision about if they're going to take it up to the appellate division. I'll tell you, though, Tabber is not qualified to do any sort of motions for the appellate division. They will not stand for his bullshit. If he did this in the appellate division, oh my God, that would be a bonkers.
They will throw it out before the hearing. Hey, what about this? Yes. Crispin Glover as Karl. Huh?
You're making me blush. I don't want to think about Karl in that way.
Too likable.
All right, Crispin Glover can play me.
Yeah. All right, there we go. All right, Labyrinth Mystic for $2. Thank you so much. Kate and Kate's mom countersued John for defamation. I think it's entirely possible that John will never say Kate's name about this ever again because he is going to be so terrified of what she may or may not have the ability to do to him. So I think that is true.
Let's also keep in mind that as a practical matter, I believe, from what I've heard, that Kate's mother has endless resources to draw this out more than anybody else involved in this.
Yeah. Don't get into a land war in Russia is this advice that you want to give about Kate Meany's mom.
If you want to just talk about rake after rake after rake, we're past that analogy. This is full on landmines. This is This is mushroom cloud of landmines that you have stepped on, John.
It's pretty crazy. All right, we were going to get back to something, Luigi. Do you remember? We were going to get back to
Perjury.
Luigi, talk us through the perjury stuff.
Oh my God. Where do we begin? Let's give so basically everyone knows here perjury means lying while under oath, which means that you have to say in a courtroom or by an affidavit, for that person who said that they don't like them ending in D's, that you are subjecting yourself to a penalty of perjury should you lie in court or on these documents. Now, I'm going to give just a tiny little bit of a leeway, maybe a little bit of slack in the fact that the original affidavits that were submitted to the court have since been quote unquote corrected. So let's go to the final versions of them.
Yes.
Let's go to the final versions of the affidavits, which were from the 13th. Okay.
Yes.
So let's
Hang
start
on one second.
with...
Let me pull. So do you want me to pull up John's affidavit or do you want me to pull up Taber's affidavit?
Let's start with John's.
All right. Give me 1 second. You start talking while I'm pulling that up.
So, clear my throat. Affidavit of John Melendez, as you've already stated, this corrected version shows Kate Meany as a defendant, which is already wrong. Let's see, over 18 years of age, of sound mind, perjury.
Sound mind.
Yes. So he says, I have reviewed the cross motion drafted by my attorneys. I confirm that the facts therein that pertain to me, my intentions, actions, and those of others I witnessed are accurate as set forth. So he is basically saying, I am saying that everything that I'm saying is true and that everything that I heard is true to me. Okay? So just setting the basis of what he's basically saying. In mid-2024, I began to learn that individuals associated with defendants Shuli Agar and Karl Heberger were exploiting my identity. I was horrified to discover that an acquaintance, Kate Meany, had, upon information and belief, been convinced by Mr. Egar to secretly record our private phone conversations without my knowledge or consent. First note there, he cannot prove that. There is nothing to suggest that, Kate Meany had been convinced by Shuli Egar. He has heard that as a rumor. We have no idea what started it. The rumors that I have heard was that she actually did it completely unprompted, just because she knew that she was going to get some gold and then maybe give it later. So, by him saying that this is in fact what he knows to be true, wrong. He's going to be asked to prove this. All right, so moving on. I was in California during these calls, a state which requires all parties to consent to a recording, which I never did. Blah, 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 completely irrelevant. Upon learning of this, I had my counsel call Mr. Egar and Mr. Heberger in June 24, demanding they stop. I also filed reports with the FBI and the Los Angeles Police Department. Despite these clear warnings, the defendants refused to stop. What warnings? He is trying to suggest here that these were illegal because he reported them, but what he seems to leave out was that there was no investigation whatsoever. That is a huge part of this story that he's leaving out, which would also suggest that since the FBI and Los Angeles Police Department chose not to pursue any charges in this, that it wasn't illegal. There has been no determination of legality. So, moreover, I have text messages that prove that I was unaware of being taped. Yes.
I want to pause you for 1 second. It also does not matter if it was legal or not,
No,
because
it
as
doesn't.
Karl and Shuli's attorney has pointed out on several occasions within his motion papers, that this is completely irrelevant. It is not. The people who are culpable for illegal recordings, if they were illegal, which I think we can all agree that they weren't. In fact, I would make the argument that Kate federally owns them. But regardless, it is not illegal. It is not against the basis of this lawsuit that Karl and Shuli would have played them, regardless of if they were legally obtained or not. That has nothing to do with any of this.
It has nothing. And even if there was a determination of legality, which there hasn't been, it would be in a criminal court.
Yes.
Not a civil court, like this asshole seems to think. But here's what's really amazing. Moreover, I have text messages that prove that I was unaware of being taped and recorded. Now, please just dwell on that for a moment. How does first off, how does one prove a negative?
Yep.
It's not possible. But how does a text message prove that I was unaware of being taped and recorded? That is a stupid sentence. And you are going to be called on the carpet to explain yourself, Mr. Melendez.
That's nearly the definition of hearsay. This is
I don't even know what it means, to be honest.
Well, I can send you a text message saying anything. I could text message you saying literally anything. So
I'm an astronaut. I texted it to you. That proves it.
I believe it.
What the fuck?
Yes.
How the fuck does a text message prove that you are unaware of being taped? I don't understand that. Maybe what he means is I said such stupid things in text messages that no reasonable person would have said if they were taped and recorded. Maybe that's what he means. But I don't think that's what he means because he's dumb.
What I think that he means is that he sent text messages to the people who were in the witness affidavits on his behalf. I think that what he means is I sent them text messages saying, oh my God, I just found out she was recording me. Can you believe it? I had no idea she was recording me. That's what I think he actually means.
Maybe that's what it means. And you know what? I'm actually going to probably just give you the benefit of the doubt on that one to say that is what he means. But I think we can both agree that does not qualify as proof.
No. Oh, no, absolutely not.
Yes. So, Jesus Christ, he is stupid. Okay, so moving on. This text messages, this guy's the one always correcting people's grammar and spelling. This text messages are between Miss Meany and me after the second time I was unknowingly recorded. I have text messages, no punctuation, by the way. I have text messages that show that Miss Meany admits to giving tapes to Egar based on pressure from Egar that threatened Miss Meany with public disclosure of the romantic relationship we had.
That implies that a relationship was had.
There's also no punctuation, but he is saying he had a romantic relationship with Kate Meany. Now, how
do you think Kate Meany feels about that?
Jesus Christ. I'm pretty sure right now she's having to explain to a lot of people, I swear to God, I never slept with John. and she's telling people, fine, I'll get tested. There's just so much here. Why he would say this is amazing, because the open door concept of law, as soon as you mention something, you open the door to its scrutiny under a microscope. So now you said it, John, you said it. You have text messages that quote unquote prove that you were unaware of being taped. And you have text messages that, quote unquote, prove that Meany was being threatened by Shuli Egar based on your romantic relationship. I cannot wait to hear how you explain yourself out of this one, John. Now, again, let's keep on moving. And again, I want to make sure that we're clear on this. This is all under penalty of perjury. And this is only the first affidavit. Every affidavit has something in it that's great.
Can I ask, actually, what is generally the penalty of perjury? Is it a fine?
Usually a fine, but it is a criminal charge.
I know that, but I'm just wondering. I'm sure that there's a vast. You could go to jail if you perjured yourself so badly. Is there like a standard? I don't know that at all.
I mean, think of no, there's not a standard. It's usually it's usually by judges' discretion. But think of Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart did a year in prison for perjury. Not because of anything having to do with insider trading. It was the fact that she lied about insider trading. She did a year for perjury.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So best of luck, John. All right. Let's keep moving. Let's talk about more perjury. It says here, instead, they made my stolen voice the centerpiece for a for-profit event they called DabbleCon 2 in August 2024. They used my name and image to promote the event. On their online shows, played snippets of the illegal recordings. Illegal recordings. There has been no determination of legality.
Yes.
To generate
That is-
excitement. Yeah. Just
Again and again and again.
Yeah. Sold tickets, blah, blah, blah. They even went so far as to... Okay. All right. Now, this is the first time that they have actually corrected one of the claims that they made beforehand that was direct perjury. They even went so far as to have someone steal discarded cushions from my property to display on stage as a prop for mockery. Now, let's talk about all of the elements of this sentence that are absolutely ridiculous. One, well, first, let's just say this originally was changed from Karl and Shuli stole my cushions themselves and went to my property and trespassed on my property in California to steal them. That is originally what he said, folks. It's ridiculous. But now he's saying they went so far as to have someone steal discarded cushions. Now, there's so much wrong with this because, first off, Karl and Shuli didn't have anyone do anything. They have a wide range of fans who proactively decided this would be funny, and they did it. But also, how does one steal something that is discarded?
Yes.
You can't do that because it's not yours. It's not yours to steal. It is discarded.
The best way to describe the discarded couch cushions, I think, is to ask yourself the question, if you put something on the side of the curb, can the cops search it without a search warrant? And the answer to that is yes. Once it is on the curb, it no longer belongs to you. Anybody can have whatever the heck they want.
That is an abundant yes, and that is actually how the Golden State Killer was finally identified, because they got a DNA match on him, and in order to confirm it, they went through his garbage and found a coffee cup with his DNA on it to confirm that his DNA matched. They did not need a warrant. That is exactly it. But what's great, though, is that there's so much wrong with this sentence in which he says they steal discarded, meaning not mine, discarded cushions from my property. It was not your property. It was on a public sidewalk, not your property.
Once discarded, it is no longer your property.
It is no longer your property, nor was it on your property. And then also to display on stage as a prop for mockery. What is mockery? It is protected First Amendment speech. You admit that this is protected First Amendment speech.
It's amazing.
Fucking
it's
moron.
Amazing. It's literally amazing.
Yeah. How about this? Prove that they were actually yours. Prove we didn't just find them behind my house and just put them on stage and said they were yours as a bit. You know, it's like, why does it even matter?
I don't know how he thinks he's going to get away with this.
It's a lawsuit about the right to privacy publicity. Literally none of it matters is the answer.
None
to that
of it
question.
matters, but it is opening the door to have his credibility called into question and saying, you said this, John, prove it. You have to prove all of these things you said because you brought them into this. And here's another great example of opening the door and bringing something in is in that second amended complaint that they are asking the court to approve. You mentioned it earlier. He says that because of Karl and Shuli, his relationship with his son has been irreparably damaged, and he blames everything on them. Guess what, John? You opened the door, and now your son is the only way that your claim can be proven as true.
I can't wait for discovery.
We can't just ask you to explain yourself. We need it proven. So guess who gets to be called as a witness to this case? Your son, John.
He's going to love that.
We're going to get
Best
to
of
hear. We're going to get to hear what his son has to say about his dad. That's what we're going to get to hear if this goes forward. That's what discovery is going to look like, which is insanity.
I don't get it. I just don't fucking get it. I don't understand
again,
how he thought any
himself,
of this was a good idea. Yeah.
It's the same exact situation where what we had was Tabber filing that letter for settlement, which is damning him. John is damning himself. He's just damning. Again, it's the rake after rake after rake after rake, and we all know about all of the rakes.
Well. I damn him to hell.
Damn you all to hell.
He is the reason that this is disintegrating. Him. But what's crazy is that he's getting people to lie on his behalf. And like I said earlier about a judge with a chip on their shoulder, if a judge really has it up his ass to make a point or to make an example of John might have just ruined the lives of other people. And that's John. That's what John does. He ruins the lives of other people. But let me get through this real quick. There's another line in here that I just want to draw attention to. It's actually aside from the prejudice thing. The perjury thing. Let's see. My private life was turned into a commodity for defendants. Oh, wait, that's not it. This is it. Paragraph 11. Defendants have now filed a motion to dismiss my lawsuit, claiming their actions were protected speech on a matter of public interest. I strongly disagree. I can't believe he did that. This is not a matter. This is not a this is not a statement of your opinions. This is a statement of facts. This blows my fucking mind.
He's saying, I'm butthurt. That's literally what's happening in this sentence. And I could not possibly enjoy that anymore. I strongly disagree. I think that they were being big bag meanies. And so then I should get the money. Like, what are you... this lawsuit has gone so off the rails, so incredibly off the rails. There is no way to actually understand anything.
This literally is John saying, Your Honor,
Yes.
Maybe it will be explained more succinctly in the.
Is that what you think? Is that really what you think?
in the blockbuster Hollywood.
You think it's going to get better from here?
Okay. That does make some sense. Make some sense.
Yeah, once a screenwriter handles it, and the screen share that I've sent to you, Kaylee, when this premieres at the Toronto International Film Festival next summer, we'll probably get all of our answers.
Oh, yes, I love it. It's beautiful. Harley versus stuttering pile of shit. It's quite perfect.
That is great.
It really does look exactly like Karl.
I'm not gonna totally like that's fantastic. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on the other motions because it's just a lot of the same shit and a lot of the same statements. But I do want to just draw a couple of points to a couple of them, which is first off the affidavit of J.M. Wait a minute, that's not the one.
I would like to talk about all of the witness affidavits that have been filed.
Yeah.
So let me talk about them in general.
You do it.
While you're looking for what you want to find in particular, I would like to talk about all of these affidavits in general. So what Tabber did was he filed opposition to both the motion to dismiss as well as the motion to transfer venues. Now, what he did that was so imbecilic was that when he filed opposition to the motion to dismiss, he included as exhibits within that motion affidavits from witnesses who are talking about why they need the venue to be in New York City. So he filed these affidavits within the wrong motion, which makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
He should have filed them within the opposition to the motion to transfer venue, because what these affidavits are supporting is the idea that they want to keep this motion venued in New York County as opposed to moving it to Monroe County. Now, what are these witness affidavits? These witness affidavits are signed off on by different people who are part of John's camp, who are all saying, I am a witness to this. And because of that, I would like you to keep this matter in New York County because that's more convenient for me than it would be if this was held in Monroe County. Now, when Karl and Shuli submitted similar affidavits for their motion to change the venue, they presented witnesses who all were located in Monroe County. However, John and Tabber have presented all witnesses who are sort of close to New York County. He has presented witnesses who are in Nassau, who are in Suffolk, who are in Massapequa. I think that we all could kind of guess that that was going to be a thing. And in addition to that, I'm just going to pull one of these witness affidavits up right here. These are very, very bizarre for a witness affidavit. Typically, these would be documents where people are attesting to specific pieces of information that are happening to them. However, every one of these witness affidavits is a near copy and paste of its counterpart. So right now what I have pulled up here is an affidavit of Daniel, and this says Daniel blank. Their name has been redacted, and they attest to certain pieces of information.
I think he walks with a cane and is a hired gun, that might be the Daniel that this is referring to.
I honestly don't want to make any speculation.
I know
about
that's all
who
me.
These
That's
people
me.
Are.
That's just
I
me.
will
That's
say.
my opinion.
I will say. I don't necessarily think they are wrong, but what I will also say, while Luigi is finding specifically what he wants to talk about with regard to this, is that you'll notice on this particular affidavit that I have brought up, that it says in the top right corner there, it says affidavit of Daniel. It's bolded and underlined. In addition to that, you can see that it says in the highlighted green on that third highlighted green section, Daniel blank, because they have redacted his last name. Mm-hmm. I will also tell you that there are several other affidavits. I want to say that they filed 5 or 6 affidavits. I don't have the number in front of me right now. There are several other affidavits where they successfully redacted the last name, similar to how Daniel's last name is redacted there. However, in the spot in the top right corner there where it says affidavit of Daniel, they did not properly redact things. In fact, they even named the specific relationships to John, which is the dumbest redaction I have ever seen in my life. And if I were any of those people, I would be furious. Now, you will notice that I am not showing you copies of those affidavits because I don't want to dox them. However, that information is in fact public record. So Tabber, in fact, doxed these people by not doing proper redactions, which is nuts.
What an asshole.
I would be so furious if I had asked for my personal information to be redacted and then it was not. This is the equivalent. The reason that we redact things is to protect people, right? It's the same reason that you wouldn't want your social security number plastered on a billboard. We're trying to protect people. Fuck any attorney who doxes you. This is an attorney who doxed people.
Live by the sword, die by. You live by the sword, you die by the sword, John. Die by the fucking sword.
Yeah. All right, Luigi, did you find the specific one that you wanted to have a conversation about?
Well, the issue, I think, it's funny, I just remembered that we did kind of already talk about it, which was that in each of these, they specifically say that they are attesting to what John told them.
Yes.
Which is the definition of inadmissible hearsay. You can't do that. You can't just go around saying, I know it to be a fact because someone told me it was a fact. That does not prove a fact. That has nothing to do with anything. It is just simply what someone told you. But also what I really loved was Asa's affidavit in which she says she's been a longtime friend of John's. She doesn't want to claim him as her son.
And that leads to the point that I made that these are copy and pasted. Typically when we fill out affidavits. So again, Trucker Andy and I both filled out affidavits that attested to the reasons why we believe that the venue should be moved. Why, as witnesses, we would like the venue to be moved to Monroe County. We both filled out affidavits like this. We filled out our own information because that is personal to me. That is personal to Trucker Andy. That is personal to every single other person who is filling out one of these affidavits. And instead, what we have on John's side is we have these copy and paste exact word for word, verbatim situations that these people are not only signing off on, but again, are getting notarized, which is again under the penalty of perjury. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, these sorts of affidavits, or in some cases, affirmations, do not need to be notarized within New York State. If this was an affirmation, it would not need to be notarized. So we could have done this without the penalty of perjury, but we chose to get it notarized, which means that every single person who signed off on this, at least my understanding of the law, this means that every single person who signed off on this is culpable of whatever they said in this thing, and there are errors.
John.
Right? Am I right?
John might have ruined a lot of lives.
Might have
just today. Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's a huge chance that nothing will come of this, but the judge is going to be the ultimate decider in whether or not to pursue this. But like I said, if he's got a chip on his shoulder, he could, and that could mean a criminal charge for every one of these people, including John.
And again, I just want to point out that none of the people who signed these witness affidavits on behalf of John are located in New York County. Whereas every single person who submitted a witness affidavit, or an affirmation in our cases because we didn't get them notarized, every single person who submitted a witness affirmation for Karl and Shuli does in fact reside in Monroe County. So it is very funny to see the two of them arguing about venue in this very, very, very silly way here. I love it. I don't love it. It's so stupid.
I don't know that a room full of Hollywood's best writers could write this. And if they did, audiences would think that there's no way this could happen.
They could not. Now, we do have just a couple of more things that I want to hit tonight, but I know we've been going for a long time. I am going to have you guys let everybody know where they can find you. We're going to read some more super chats, and then we're just going to end with a couple of fun things. Again, I'm going to try to entice Luigi to help me with maybe some little mini videos that we can do so that we can explain each one of these documents in more detail, at least to the best that we can understand them, because let's be honest, none of them make any dang sense. But maybe we'll work on that as a future project so that y'all can kind of get the breakdown, the line by line, the interesting or boring to you, and you can skip it. It's totally up to you. Before we hit the super chats, though, Trucker Andy, will you please tell everybody where they can find you?
Sure, love to. Thanks for having me, of course. And obviously, I want people to check out at the Edge Files that the three of us all do together every other Monday. You know, look for that being promoted on the Edge Files social media when those are going to come out. But then, in addition to that, I do the All Apologies podcast with my brother Trucker. Or no, not Trucker, Joe Sixpack. And
we're both truckers now.
Yeah.
Trucker Jerksock.
Yeah, right. Look for that on Wednesdays, where I'm also going to be covering all of the filmography of Edgar Wright in a director's chair limited series called All the Right Moves. And that's going to be on the All Apologies podcast channel as well. So please subscribe to the All Apologies podcast YouTube channel, wherever you listen to YouTube shit.
And it is also linked down below. So absolutely go check that out. And what about you, Luigi?
LuigiGreenberg.com. Please check out my show, Skeptical Robot, on Friday. This week, we're going to be talking about Harold Camping and a cult that believed in the end of the world in 2011 with Shmuel Buckman as our special guest. Also, check me out on Tuesdays and Wednesdays on Hackride Studios channel. We do Unboxing Eric and Unboxing Riley Martin and Unboxing Bigfoot it is. Also, please check out my co-hosts, HackRideStudios.com, DJElectrify.com, CornDiff.com, and GummyChainsaw.com.
And DJ Electra,
Next Monday, we're doing Edge Files, and I'll give a hint, or I guess I'll talk about the topic. We're going to be talking about the very, very unusual death of Bob Crane.
Ooh, very exciting. DJ Electra, she also did my intro video for Lucy Does Dabbleverse, so I just want to give an additional little shout out there. And it was perfect timing because we're heading back into some super chats before we finish up with a couple of fun little last minute things, including one from Shmuel Buckman. So perfect timing as you were just mentioning that he would be on your show. $2. That lawyer looks familiar. Bathhouse?
He gave me a full rundown of drugs from his time that gay guys use to loosen up their anuses. That's what he's talking about. Yep.
I just recently learned that some men inject drugs directly into their penis to stay hard, and I was terrified by that. So we've gotten off topic. Let me go back to the super chats. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I think we're starting a new topic.
Jesus. No. Wasabista for 600 yen. Obviously, there is no real lawyer involved in this clusterfuck. Is SJ in serious legal doo-doo for impersonating an attorney? There is, in fact, a real attorney involved. He is in good standing in New York State as of this moment. I don't know if he will be when this is all over. Next up, we have That's Where You Be Started to Expand the Mind. Good God, I did a great job on that. $2. Excuse me, but we can't see any jugs. I'm sorry. Andy, fix it. Thank you.
I could do a female character.
Pop culture dumpster, $2. Loser has to go on Content Hotel too. Hey, I had a great time when I was there. I'll happily go back. You don't even have to make me the loser for that. I'm there, baby. Hamilton Burger for $2 Canadian. If I knew what oh my God, I can't.
Indignant.
Thank you.
Indigent.
Thank you.
Meant I'd sue you from Stuttering John. That was a rough situation for everybody there.
None of us know.
I can't. Chad Zoom Mimic, $2. FSJ, Kaylee is my next F-wife. I am always looking for future ex-husbands, so I love that idea. Thank you very much for the $2. Bedabbler Network for $5. Is there any way Karl wins but Shuli loses? Hashtag Tukey new. This
Not
question
anymore.
gets asked a lot. I'm glad that they're on a united front, dang it. Wade Garrett, $1.99. Why does it say Texas on one of those affidavits? Also a great question that we did not get to cover today. I think this is very interesting. On some of the affidavits, John has gotten a notary public to actually witness and have them sign off on what he is doing. On other ones, he is using an electronic notary. This is legal in New York State. Electronic signatures are legal. And during the COVID times, we started allowing electronic notarizations. So what has happened is that a notary public who resides in Texas signed off on those documents, agreeing that they did, in fact, to see who John was. I also thought that that was very peculiar. Do you know, Luigi, why that happens sometimes?
Yeah, it's really just a matter of convenience. Those electronic notary services, like you said, became very popular during COVID. I've had to use them a couple of times. Basically, what you do is you have basically what's essentially a Teams meeting where you are meeting with another person on the other end who is a notary. They ask you a series of questions, and they ask you to present on the camera identifying documents, and they will notarize your documents for you. It's becoming more and more common. It's not that crazy.
Isn't it? I think it's just a little bit weird that some of them are signed off on by notaries in New York and some, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't know. All right, Troy Smith. Hi, Troy. It's good to see you electronically after seeing you this weekend. Amazing job on your poster for our Detroit weekend. It was wonderful. We got to see Eric Zane was actually Crispin Glover on that poster. It was all Back to the Future themed, and I liked that very much. I just want to see what he will wear to court. FSJ. It's got to be one of the gross T-shirts.
His brother's suit. What do you mean?
That's it.
KFT for $2. Hi, John. We know you're watching. Hey, Kaylee. I think that he is. I also think that his lawyer is. General Ocean Wolf, Tukey World Ordy, Tukey Taliban for $2. Don't forget, SJ is studying hard to pass the bar.
Please don't believe that nonsense.
No, absolutely not going to be a thing. Major Tom reports for $2. A tip for legal analysis and a kissy face. Well, thank you, sir. That's where you be started to expand the mind for $5. Get a hold of whomever made American Conspiracy, the Octopus Murderers documentary to make the Dabbleverse one. I'm holding out for the Broadway musical. I was really enjoying them talking last night on TSN about the Broadway musical. I thought that would have been freaking hilarious.
I will play myself in the Broadway musical.
I like that. I can't wait to hear your singing voice. Labyrinth Mystic for $2. How did John get the amounts? Arbitrary? State law? I do believe that it is largely arbitrary.
Yes.
He states that he would like there to be discovery in order for him to determine how much money was actually made off of those events, and that might make him renovate those numbers. Typically, you want to shoot high for something like that because you don't get a second bite at the apple, despite the fact that it seems like Tabor has had many second bites at the apple because of all of his dang filings. You technically do not get a second bite at the apple, which means that if you request for too low of amount and you later find out that it was more than that, you don't get to then go back and say, I want more money now, please.
But that is also something that we didn't discuss. This might be a little too inside baseball, but that request for discovery to respond to the motion to dismiss, that's where that was written. And that is the whole fucking point of a motion to dismiss, is to point out that the original complaint shouldn't be considered as credible or as valid because it was procedurally flawed. So the decision has to be made on the face of the arguments that are on paper. So for him to say, I need to, in order to respond to this, to defend the claims that I have already made, I have to go to discovery to assure myself that I said the right thing. It makes no sense. It's terrible. That's the whole point. It is, yes, but it is totally bananas that he would say that. It's like, no, that's not procedurally how this is supposed to go. It's supposed to be evaluated on what you've done. I just can't make any sense of this person.
Yeah,
Anyway.
It's crazy. All right, Brian Workman for $5. Thank you so much. Could a potential finding for Karl and Shuli impact John's ability to inherit property / money from his mother? Anything could happen. It depends on what the court rules. I don't know.
That's a stretch, but not
Chad
entirely
Zuminick,
impossible. Yeah.
$2. Those bazongas. Yo.
Thank you.
Andy. June Cleaver's Beaver for $5 Canadian. If it is proven John said that he knew he was being recorded, could that be implied consent because he did not end the phone call? Yes, I think that is a great point. I think that we've all already seen the evidence that John said he knew he was being recorded. I suspect there is tons more. I remember at Dabble House that there was lots of conversation where John was saying, I know that you're recording me right now, bah, bah, bah. So I don't think it's just the one recording that they're going to have. I think there will be more than likely.
I think they've only submitted one to the court. But also what's interesting is that in the affidavits that John submitted, he everything is just so ass backwards. It's not just implied consent. It is full-on consent because he specifically says, I know that you're recording me. What he has submitted to backtrack and say that shouldn't be considered evidence is the fact that he's saying, I wasn't sincere when I said it. I had my fingers crossed behind my back. And even though I said it, you shouldn't take me seriously. I cannot believe he wrote that down.
And also...
It's regardless of what your motive and intention or tone of voice was, you said it.
And this is the second time. Let's not forget, she did this to him already.
Yes.
Then she came back, started doing it all over again. And
he looks like an idiot.
She was doing it again. And now he's going to stand up in front of a judge who's going to go, how fucking stupid are you? It's like, you wanted this to happen.
Yeah.
And you know what, to your point, I was talking to someone today on Twitter when exactly what you're saying, you wanted this to happen. I think we really need to accept the fact that no matter how much John protests, he loves the Dabbleverse. I think he absolutely revels in being in it. And if you consider the fact that the first time he ran away and was gone for 8 months, there was an announcement made on Uncle Rico that specifically said, Shuli says, we're going to step away from John content because he's, we're wearing it out. He's been gone for 8 months. We don't think he's coming back. Do you know how long it took John to come back after that announcement was made? 8 days.
Yeah.
8 days after that announcement, John came running back because I just think he loves it. And this time again, went away for, another 8 months. And it doesn't look like he's leaving.
And
he
on the 8th
this.
day, God created Coors Light.
And so you're right. You're saying you wanted this. At this point, I would have argued for the past, few years that I've been involved with the Dabbleverse. I'm completely changing my opinion that no matter what John says and John complains about, he's looking for an easy payday and getting exactly what he loves, attention.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Next up, we got Labyrinth Mystic for $2. Thank you so much. How about Carshoe, like cashew, as shift lawsuit? I like it. We're doing the combined names now for those losers. Bob's Fake Pool, $2. Year 1 course on bad filings and how to lose a license. I do think that this is exactly the type of thing that they will one day teach in law school about what not to do. T. Benedict for another $5. Is there a way where Karl and Shuli could obtain how John's attorneys are getting paid to see if some dipshit third party is funding this lawsuit? I don't believe so. I think
so, yeah.
Here's why I don't believe so. I believe that any third-party dipshit who may or may not be involved in this lawsuit is smart enough to more than likely have also paid to also have paid John's attorney in order to obtain attorney-client privilege. And I think that that would be a very smart thing to do if that person had done that. And I think that they may or may not have. And I think that that's... That's all I'm going to say. Troy Smith for $2. Please call Mr. Sheet Shitterson to the stand. Yes, he would be able to explain it all in a way that we would understand. Dang Lizard for €2. SJ said he proved he asked OJ because, quote, his friend said. Yes, a lot of that sort of thing going on, which is insane.
Yeah, exactly.
Reverend Rage for $5. Luigi, could you show Lucy my heavy death metal scream I sent you? And also, would you want to make a $100 wager about this case being dismissed?
We already made the wager when I was on BYB. You want another one?
Who has you're going $100? It is dismissed.
I guess okay. So I think I see what he's saying. Okay. I said that it would survive dismissal, but John would ultimately lose. So we're saying on dismissed. No, I have not made up my mind about what's going to happen on Friday. So I'll take your bet, but I need to make
won't bet $100.
But I don't know what side he's taking. What side is he taking?
Right,
I need to decide my side. Yeah.
Somebody watch the chat and see if he's in there talking about how much he's taken so we can put a cap on that. June Cleaver's Beaver for $5 Canadian. John announced 2 days ago on his stream he was a, quote, functioning alcoholic. Would this call into question his memory? I definitely, again, he has said on many occasions, sound mind, which I think we can all agree to disagree on. Herb Beta Patched for $5. How can you tell John has a bad lawyer? They're working on Shabbos. It's not wrong.
I like it.
As a Jewish lady, I agree with you. Drunk Engineer, $5. John is Demi Moore in A Few Good Men yelling, Your Honor. I can't do it. We strenuously object. Yes, that's perfect. I love that. Great. The Edgelord for $2. Private life. He reveals everything on YouTube. I gotta say, I wish that he would do just live streams of his life.
He has frequently denied that he has any sort of bad relationship with his kids. He has frequently denied that, and now he finally admitted it in this
under the penalty of perjury.
Under the penalty of perjury in this complaint, he has frequently denied that. He has said that he has a great relationship with every one of his kids, and finally it comes out what we've all said has been true the whole time.
Yep, absolutely. We got Big Daddy Dodo coming in with $2. Sorry I'm late. Did anyone show any boobs?
Andy did. You missed it.
Damn it. Oh, we have the amazing Koof for $5. Great coverage, guys. Thank you for not killing yourselves. And Koof, as always, thank you for not killing yourself. I hope to see you in Vegas again whenever Hackamania 3 is.
Thank you.
Craig for another $2. I could write this. I don't know that anybody could write this movie. It's too crazy. Dabbling John for $5. Love you, Kaylee, but please reposition the ring light so we can see those beautiful eyes. I have tried on many occasions. I'm very bad at things. If only John would send me a ring light, maybe I would be able to better make this look good. But he thinks that I'm at least the 5th ugliest girl in the Dabbleverse, so I don't think that he's going to send me a ring light anytime soon. But I got hope for these other ladies. I got hope.
To be fair, you also wouldn't touch anything John sent you.
Oh, that's accurate. A very good point. A very good point. We are back in with Asa Baby Burden, formerly Karl, for another $5. Lee G, I'll save you the trouble. It was John Carpenter. John Carpenter.
That is not going to be the focus, actually, of the episode. I agree. It was John Carpenter who murdered Bob Crane. What we're going to actually focus on was that in his death was revealed a very unique and incredibly weird sexual fetish. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
No.
Boy.
I'm keeping it alive because it gets weird. It gets weird.
I'm very excited. All right, next up we have Tony Baloney for $2. Keep going, guys. I'm still doing chores. Lucy Typebox World Order. Thank you. I appreciate you, Tony Baloney. You always give me the LTBWOs, and I always appreciate them tons, so thank you. And hopefully the chores are done soon. Rumpled Trench Coat, a Columbo podcast, coming in for $5. SJ did the same thing versus Sirius wanting discovery before claiming a dollar amount of damage. That did not end well. Very, very true. Oh, you know what I didn't even talk about? Okay. I'm going to say this, and then you guys are going to remind me after we read through a couple more super chats. I didn't even talk about the fact that at one point, Karl and Shuli's attorney references previous decisions made by the judge who is presiding over this case, and it's hilarious. Yes, we have all done this before. These are rakes that have been raked in the raking rake. Dave Doris, $5. Your Honor, I call the potato as a hostile witness. You guys have all been so supportive and so wonderful.
Thank you.
We are gonna close up relatively soon here. I'm gonna talk about this this beautiful reference that we had from Danny, Karl and Shuli's attorney talking about the references. Luigi, do you happen to remember where that is, where he's citing the court cases from Cohen?
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I will look.
We might have to, I'll have you look at that. We might have to revisit that another day. Again, there's too much to talk about in one episode for this. It is just incredibly, incredibly overwhelming. And each document is more absurd than the last. So for us to be able to go through everything and talk about all the craziness would be, it's not possible. We do definitely, while Luigi is trying to find that, need to talk about one other crazy thing, which is, of course, that Stuttering John has hired co-counsel. So now there are 2 attorneys that are working on this case for him. We all know so very much about Tabber, and everybody has been really enjoying getting to learn that John's new attorney, Bennett Susser, has been dabbling in comedy. So I thought, even though I know Cardiff has been covering this tons, we've been getting all the Susser quotes, I really, really, I can't help but share with you guys my favorite Bennett joke from his stand-up set. And the setup for this is going to basically be that he is talking about what his dad wants him to be when he grows up.
Gee, Pop, I'd like to be an archaeologist. No! You're going to be an attorney? That's it! End of discussion. So the guy who stifles my ability to challenge or object wants me to litigate court cases?
I can't tell you how much I love that horrible, horrible joke because It is. We are talking about attorneys right now who are struggling to litigate this court case. Now, I have not seen enough work coming from Bennett Susser to be able to judge his legal prowess. But what I can tell you is that I have seen an awful lot from Tabor, and I am very underwhelmed. It's near shocking how many whoopsies this man has made. It would be impossible to quantify them. That's how many there are.
Yeah. For a comedian, he's a pretty good lawyer, I think. That was like 2 setups and no punchline. What the fuck was that?
That one was my favorite of his jokes.
Cardiff played the whole set, and
yeah,
it's what you'd expect.
Was he opening for Rocco at the Hackamania set?
My favorite was he has a joke in there where he's like, yeah, I have soda because I'm from New York, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, I'm going to file a subpoena. I was like, oh, my God, that is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard. I'm very proud of him. He has really hitched his wagon to a great team here. I think it's going to go really well for all of them. I'm sure that nobody will ever talk about his stand-up comedy ever again, if I had to guess. So, Luigi, did you have any luck?
I have not found
these references. No. I will have that for the next time for sure. I think that we are going to close up for tonight. Luigi, final thoughts on this?
Clusterfuck.
What about you, Trucker Andy? What do we got?
I second that, and I look forward to seeing what comes out at the end of the week. It's very fascinating, but I hope that we were talking about how fast or how long. It's fun to think about the idea that we can talk about this for a while, but for Karl and Shuli's sake, for our friend's sake, I hope it wraps up sooner than later.
I want nothing more than for this to be over for our friends. I understand that exactly like you said, we are getting entertainment out of it. I would never want to be sued. Nobody wants to be sued. This is not a fun time. Even if it ends up working out well for them in the long run, go support them now. They need your support. It is very, very important to me that my friends are not dealing with this bullshit, and instead they have to, and that stinks, and I hate it. And we are going to continue covering what is going on with all this stuff here as best we can, because it is so challenging to talk about when none of it makes any dang sense. But we're gonna keep trying.
Can we do something though real quick?
Yes.
Let's speculate on whenever we convene again for our next episode, let's guess and maybe make small bets as to whether or not there's going to be a more desperate settlement offer.
If you are proposing that we get a Wheel of Consequences a la Creep Off, I swear to God, I'm going to make sure that they sue you. I am not doing Wheel of Consequences. Absolutely not. I don't like where this is going, even in the slightest.
I didn't even think of any. I actually was talking about money. I wasn't even talking about consequences. Yeah. But you brought it up.
I don't like where this is going. I don't like that I brought it up. Stupid Kaylee. I'm stepping on rakes over here now.
I will do the whole episode in a bikini.
That does not count even in the slightest.
I'm wearing a bikini right now. You just don't know.
Oh my God, I hate you guys so much. I hate it so very, very much.
No, I am a little curious as to, like, when we convene, if there's going to be some more desperation on their end, more mistakes. I feel like we just, more than anything, I feel like we just need to put like some sort of marker as to how bad it is now and how bad it's going to be when we come back.
How about this? There is a motion hearing date on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We have to figure out what's going to happen in that. So I'll give my guess first, and we can do some format of Wheel of Consequences.
I'm really not into the consequences. I'm totally kidding.
I'm not gambling money with you. No way.
All right.
We'll find something. But this is what I think will happen on Friday. I think that, okay, we do need to talk about what's going to happen on Friday. That is very important because that is going to be the next development. There are these motion hearings on Friday, and I believe that during the motion hearings, that more than likely what the court is going to do is mark the matter as submitted and then take it into consideration. I would like to say that I believe that there is going to be a dismissal based on the egregiousness of how incorrectly and improperly all of Taber's motions have been filed. I would like to say that there's going to be a dismissal on that, but I think that instead what is going to happen is that the judge is going to look at these documents and he is going to say, I'm going to put that at the bottom of the stack because I don't want to think about this right now. Luigi?
Boring.
It's true.
I can't say more than that. I mean, I think that's kind of spot on. I feel like we kind of agree on that.
Andy, do you think that anybody is going to do anything crazy on Friday? Do you think John is going to stream on Friday?
Oh, yeah, probably. It seems
How
like
drunk will he be?
Super. Depending on what comes out, it'll gauge how drunk he gets, but I'm pulling for like schizo Sean suicide vest.
Oh no. Oh boy. So much crossover lately. We do have one more super chat here from Von Buren. It is $20. Thank you so much. Lucy is clearly a very competent legal secretary. That is what I do, not being lawyer. Thank you, Luigi, for being a lawyer here. And thank you very much for the super chat. And thank you guys all for watching so much. We really appreciate this because the more attention that we can get brought to this, the more support Karl and Shuli can get. And that really is the ultimate goal here. We want to be able to explain to you what's going on so that you can understand it. But in addition to that, we really, really want to support them in this time because it sucks. It sucks a whole bunch. So Luigi Greenberg from Skeptical Robot, thank you so much for being here. Trucker Andy, thank you so much for being here and questioning us when we're saying words that are nonsense. Do not forget to go subscribe to All Apologies Podcast. Do not forget to go over and subscribe to Luigi Greenberg. And for me, I will possibly see you guys live tomorrow. I will be talking about my most recent movie haul as well as my recent trip to Detroit with Who Are These Podcasts. So if you want to come over and see that tomorrow night, that will be at 6:30. And I just love you guys all so much for watching. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much. Good night.